Welcome, dear fire disciples. How are you all doing? So, today we have brought another story for you, and let me tell you, this one is absolutely wild. Imagine waking up in the middle of a bustling city with your memories completely wiped clean, only to realize your body has been packed with insane future tech from the year 2082. Meet our unstoppable special agent protagonist, who can perform high-stakes emergency street surgery using nothing but a regular sewing needle and a box cutter, stitching up internal organs with the flawless precision of a sewing machine. With a snarky, tactical AI combat support system literally implanted in his head, he goes from pulling off these impossible makeshift medical miracles to flipping massive walks as a legendary PC room chef, and even scaling burning buildings like a real-life Spider-Man. He is knocking out towering thugs in a single hit, executing photorealistic martial arts-level movie stunts in one flawless take, and throwing stones with precision sniper accuracy to obliterate kidnappers. Every single doctor, detective, movie director, and CEO who crosses his path is left with their jaws dropping to the floor in absolute, pure shock. Who is this mysterious hero, and how is he already registered in a database decades before his time? To know what happens next, watch this complete video. High above the bustling city, the steady hum of traffic filled the air, completely normal for a typical afternoon. Suddenly, with a sharp hiss, the traffic lights began to spark and glitch wildly, flashing erratic colors. Amidst the busy street, a young man stood frozen, entirely bewildered by his surroundings. He stared down at his heavy boots, a faint, unnatural blue energy pulsing softly beneath his feet. He raised his gloved hands, turning them over slowly as if they belonged to a complete stranger. Above him, the street lights continued their dangerous, unpredictable dance. He muttered to himself softly, "This place." In a flash, his bright blue eyes snapped wide open. He took a step back, taking in the chaotic environment with a growing sense of panic. He thought frantically to himself, "Where am I?" His mind raced, struggling to grasp even the simplest memories. He looked around in a building glass. He sees his reflection. Desperation crept into his mind. Who am I? What was my name again? His gaze fell upon his shoulder. A distinct, colorful patch boldly read, "Special Force." He examined the tight, tactical black gear clinging to his muscular frame, feeling the sturdy fabric. He pondered, deeply confused, these clothes? On his other shoulder, another heavily stitched patch proudly displayed, Earth Union. He wondered silently, is this a military uniform? He looked up at the vast blue sky, trying to piece his shattered mind back together. My name, what I was doing, and where I am. But there was absolutely nothing. I can't remember anything at all. Suddenly, a sharp, piercing whine echoed directly in his ear. His body reacted faster than his mind. He spun around, pulling his fist back with terrifying speed. With explosive force, his fist smashed into a nearby tree, sending a massive shockwave tearing through the air. A flock of birds scattered frantically into the clouds, startled by the thunderous impact. The agent stared at his trembling fist, his breath hitching in his throat. The heavy tree trunk was completely shattered into splinters, and terrified pedestrians recoiled in shock, dropping their phones. He thought, astounded by his own body. I moved instinctively at the sound ringing in my ears. He flexed his fingers slowly. But what is this strength? Out of nowhere, a calm, robotic voice echoed inside his head. Nice to meet you, Agent. He flinched, visibly startled. The strange voice continued. I am an AI combat support system implanted in your body. He touched his ear in absolute disbelief. Implanted in my body. The AI responded smoothly. That's correct. I am embedded within your body, Agent. Trying to gather his bearings, he scanned the quiet street and asked, where are we, and what year is it? The AI scanned the environment, reading a nearby festival banner. Based on the analysis of the banner in your field of vision, it seems to be Seoul in the year 2024. AI said, I'm a military AI model from the year 2082. Agent thought 2082? How is that possible? The agent stood silently as sparks rained from the broken traffic light. So, I'm from the future and have come to the past. The AI confirmed, according to my data records, my memory has been reset and I cannot retrieve any activity information. The agent sighed. So you've lost your memory, just like me. Just down the road, a delivery truck driver hummed a happy tune, completely unaware of the looming disaster. Suddenly, the driver's eyes bulged in pure horror as he spotted the completely blacked-out traffic light. With a desperate cry, the driver slammed his heavy boot onto the brake pedal. The heavy truck swerved violently, tires screeching aggressively across the asphalt. In the agent's vision, a bright red alert flared brightly. Warning, the AI urgently announced, traffic accident risk detected. Dodge it, the AI commanded. The agent spun around on his heels instantly. With a deafening crash of crunching metal, the truck smashed brutally into the guardrail. The AI's warning flashed again. A dangerous object is approaching. A jagged metal rod shot through the air like a deadly missile. The agent swiftly sidestepped, the deadly projectile whistling just inches past his face. But the danger wasn't over. A loud scream erupted. Someone in the crowd shouted, There's a metal rod stuck in that person's stomach. Call 911 quickly. The crowd panicked as a civilian collapsed, severely wounded. The AI calmly reported, a civilian has been injured. For a split second, the agent's vision blurred, a wave of dizziness washing over him. He rubbed his eyes vigorously. I saw red and blue colors just now. What was that? The AI replied. It was a projection from the visual assist device, an AR lens feature. The agent clenched his jaw, thinking, yeah, thanks to that, I dodged it easily. He looked over at the agonizing man on the ground. But an innocent civilian could die in 5 minutes? He thought rapidly, calculating the odds. It's impossible to get him to the emergency room within 5 minutes. Isn't there a way to save him? The AI suggested coldly. I suggest performing emergency field surgery. The agent's eyes widened in sheer disbelief. What? Me? I can't do that. The AI's voice was absolute. I can. The agent asked, you? How? First, we need to assess the patient's condition. The AI instructed with digital authority. The agent approached the unconscious civilian, towering over the panicked bystanders who backed away. He narrowed his eyes, conflicted. I have a lot of questions for this guy, but he knelt down firmly beside the victim. Let's save the injured person first, given the emergency. He carefully inspected the gruesome injury, where a heavy metal rod was deeply lodged in the man's stomach. He muttered under his breath, the wound is deep. It seems like a major surgery. Can you really do it? The AI flashed critical information across his AR vision. I have identified the necessary tools. If you have a needle, thread, a small knife, and disinfectant, the surgery can be done. He asked incredulously, a needle, thread, a small knife, and disinfectant. You could perform surgery with just those. The helpful bystander nervously asked, excuse me, can you do emergency first aid? The young man offered his help earnestly. How can I assist you? The agent hesitated, questioning internally. Can I really trust this AI? But with time rapidly running out, he ordered, I'm going to gather a needle, thread, knife, and disinfectant now. He shouted to the gathering crowd. If anyone has a needle, thread, knife, or disinfectant, please come over. Instantly, eager voices replied, I have them. Me too. The makeshift surgical tools were quickly laid out on the paved ground. A confused murmur rippled through the crowd. Who is that guy? Is he a doctor? The nervous whispers grew louder. He doesn't look like a doctor. What's he trying to do? Someone scoffed loudly. Won't he get an infection and die if he performs surgery with those? The agent remained perfectly still, focusing solely on the daunting task. A cold bead of sweat rolled down his face. The pressure was mounting rapidly. He knelt down by the scattered tools and thought to the AI, the tools are all gathered, but now what are you going to do? The AI replied smoothly, if you grant me temporary control, I can move your hands. The agent was entirely taken aback. Temporary control? The victim suddenly began coughing heavily, dark crimson fluid spilling down his chin. The agent thought grimly, I really want to ask what this is, but if I do, this guy might die soon. Making a split-second, high-stakes decision, he agreed. I'll allow it for now. A complex blue interface materialized instantly in his vision, reading, temporary control granted. Unlock. Instantly, a strange, pulsing blue aura wrapped tightly around the agent's gloved hands. He gasped sharply, his pupils dilating in utter shock. He watched his fingers flex, completely out of his own command. My hands, they're moving on their own. With a swift, mechanical movement, his hand removed the small rod from the patient. His fingers expertly looped the thin needle with absolute, pinpoint precision. He watched in pure awe. My fingers are moving incredibly swiftly and lightly. He began to operate on the severe, gaping wound. At this rate, I think the surgery will be successful. But here's the catch. A blaring red warning flashed violently across his eyes. Warning, the expected fluid loss has exceeded the limit. The survival rate is decreasing. The agent leaned in, deeply worried. What? Hey, are you sure you can save him? Silence greeted him. Wait, why aren't you answering? Without any warning, his glowing hand abruptly stopped holding the needle. Sheer panic set in. My hands have stopped. A sudden, terrifying tearing sound erupted from the open wound. A vicious mist of crimson fluid sprayed directly onto the agent's face, his eyes wide with absolute horror as the victim began to aggressively choke. The agent stared down at the devastating sight, his voice trembling as he realized the gravity of the situation. This is bad. Emergency patient. A frantic voice echoes as an ambulance races towards St. Forest University Medical Center. Someone shouts, it's a patient with severe fluid loss. Prepare an operating room immediately. Another quickly responds, got it. The neon sign above the doors blinks to life, reading, during surgery. The sliding doors open with a soft mechanical whir. The doctor, waiting anxiously in the hall, asks the exhausted surgeon, is it over? How's the patient? The surgeon breathes out a heavy sigh. Phew. The doctor hands him a cup of water. He survived, the surgeon states firmly. The doctor replies, good job. Was the injury not as serious as we thought? Surgeon scratched the back of his neck and said no. When I opened them up, I was horrified. If we hadn't stopped the bleeding earlier, they would have lost before they even got out of the ambulance. There must have been a lot of internal damage, but most of it had already been dealt with. The doctor takes a sip from his own cup, noting, so, what's the issue? The surgeon looks utterly shell-shocked. He just stitched them up with regular thread. He stitched both the inside and outside with just thread. The doctor stammers in pure shock. What? Just thread? The surgeon nods grimly. Yeah, the kind used for sewing. But what's even more shocking? The stitching was so uniform, the surgeon recalls, the vivid image of the mysterious agent working flawlessly flashing in his mind, as if it were done by a sewing machine. The doctor adjusts his glasses, completely baffled. That's ridiculous, he says. The surgeon wipes cold sweat from his brow, adding, I couldn't believe it either. But it's true. Good morning. A sudden voice interrupts their deep conversation. The two medical professionals turn to see a man standing at the entrance. Detective Park Ki-young introduces himself. I'm Detective Park Ki-young, in charge. How's the patient? The doctor smiles in relief. You came just in time. The patient's condition is stable. Surgeon asks the detective, but is it true that surgery was performed on the street? The detective rubs the back of his neck, looking highly perplexed. I was surprised too. The detective elaborates on the bizarre report. Apparently, the citizen kept asking for a scalpel, but used a box cutter instead. The doctors simultaneously scream, What? Detective Park blinks, confused by their extreme reaction. Is it a difficult procedure? The surgeon erupts in frustration. Of course. It's not the kind of surgery you can do on the street. The surgeon continues his frantic rant. Do you think a person's body can be cut that cleanly with a box cutter? He internally wonders if the guy is some kind of master swordsman. Detective Park points out, but all the witnesses testified the same way. The doctor then frantically asks, Then what about the needle? What kind of needle did he use? Detective Park deadpants. He'd been a needle from his sewing kit. In the detective's mind, he pictures a deranged, terrifying man holding a makeshift surgical tool. He whispers to himself, Insane. The scene shifts back to the street, with a mysterious agent walking away with soft, silent steps. The detective concludes. He finished the surgery and quietly left before the ambulance arrived. A heavy, dramatic silence falls over the hospital hallway. All three men stand there, absolutely speechless. Outside, the sun shines brightly over a public restroom in a serene park. The relaxing sound of running water can be heard from within. Inside, the agent is thoroughly washing the crimson stains from his hands. You suddenly stopped moving, and I thought you had given up, he remarks to the empty room. The digital, jagged voice of the AI responds clearly in his mind. I was just calculating the surgery route. The agent turns off the tap and stares intensely at the mirror. But so, why is it that you've lost your memory? He asks. The AI flatly replies. It appears my memory has been reset. Is that so? The agent continues to analyze his reflection. Then I'll give you a name. What exactly are you? The AI answers obediently. I am a combat-supporting AI implanted in your body. The agent contemplates this newfound information. Let's shorten it. He pauses, making a swift decision. Jeon Ji In. The agent stands tall in the quiet restroom. From now on, your name is Jeon Ji In. He waits for a reply, but the AI remains completely silent. Annoyed, the agent raises a sharp eyebrow. Why aren't you responding again? The AI finally speaks up. My name has been set to Jeon Ji In. If you wish to change it, please let me know. I will reset it immediately. Leaving the restroom with the creak of a heavy door, the agent asks playfully, should I change it to Black Fire Dragon? The AI responds instantly. No, Jeon Ji In is all right. The agent smirks. That was a quick response. The agent inspects his dark uniform. There's a patch on my arm that says Earth Union. The AI confirms. It's a special operations military uniform for the Earth Union. The agent pieces the puzzle together. So, let's assume I'm a special forces agent who lost his memory. And you were made in 2082. Why are we in 2024 then? The agent asks, looking out at the busy foreign street. The AI replies calmly. There's not enough information to determine that. The agent suggests logically. Can't you gather information from the internet? The AI shuts that idea down immediately. Impossible. Data input and output are restricted to avoid the risk of hacking. Then how do you input data? The agent asks, curious. I gather information solely through your 5 senses, the AI explains. For example, if you eat something delicious, I'll experience the same. The AI continues its tactical briefing. Output of information is done using your body and voice. It projects a mental image of a fierce combat scenario. However, I need permission for temporary control, and I'll assist only when it's deemed necessary for combat. The AI adds a crucial, restrictive detail. There are also things I cannot do. While I can assist with aiming, I cannot attack directly. The agent said, so you literally just assist in combat. To gather information about why we're here, I have to experience everything through my body. That's correct. The AI affirms with certainty. The agent looks determined, the warm sunlight catching his bright blue eyes. First quest, then. He looks up at a modern building housing a glowing internet cafe sign. I bet we can gather a lot of information over there, the agent says confidently. The AI suddenly interrupts his train of thought. Have you regained your memory? The agent shakes his head, walking toward the building. No, it just feels like common knowledge. He suddenly stops, realizing a massive flaw in his plan. The problem is, we need money to get there. He dramatically pulls his empty pockets inside out. I don't have anything right now, so let's earn at least 10,000 won first. He strokes his chin thoughtfully, wondering to himself, should I sing or something? Can you use my vocal cord to sing? The agent asks out loud. The AI answers, since it could be needed in the field, I can assist. The agent finds that deeply odd but agrees. In the field? Well, I'll allow temporary control. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The agent confidently raises his makeshift microphone into the air. It's a standard metal spoon. He stands tall in the middle of the park, holding the dining spoon near his mouth like a seasoned, legendary performer. You've really got everything prepared, huh? Even down to the spoon, the agent mutters, thoroughly unamused. Is singing really that necessary in battle? The AI responds with complete, robotic seriousness. It's a feature introduced to boost morale among soldiers on the battlefield. The agent narrows his eyes, highly skeptical of this so-called military tactic. Right, that makes sense, but why do we have to sing here, though? He points toward a loud, energetic rock band performing on a nearby outdoor stage, drawing a massive, cheering crowd. How am I supposed to outperform those singers over there? The agent stands awkwardly in the grass, watching the colorful musical notes float from the lively concert. The AI calculates a bizarre strategy. If you showcase a higher level of skill than the singers ahead, you'll attract attention. The agent imagines the crowd pointing and laughing at him. The AI adds logically. In a different way, attention would be guaranteed. The agent sighs, preparing for humiliation. Hey, John. The AI replies, yes. The agent warns, I know you're a great AI, but don't overdo it. You'll only end up making a fool of myself. The AI completely ignores his plea, announcing dramatically, the show begins. An empty cardboard box is tossed onto the ground with a soft, hollow thud. The agent stands entirely alone by the box, having moved away from the main walking path. He waits in tense silence. He slowly closes his eyes and clears his throat softly into his spoon microphone. People casually walk past him in the park, paying absolutely no mind to the strange man dressed in full tactical gear. But then, beautiful, flawless musical notes fill the air. A passing couple stops, completely mesmerized. Oh, the man exclaims in wonder. Two women halt dead in their tracks. That's my favorite song. One of them gasps, clasping her hands together in sheer delight. The agent poses dramatically, striking a thumbs up while sparkling with forced, blinding charisma. He asked the AI, is this pose right? The AI replied in his head, engaging the audience is essential. The growing crowd is utterly captivated. His tone is just incredible, someone cheers wildly. Another person mutters in confusion, but that person. The breathtaking song abruptly cuts off with a loud, awkward cough from the agent. A confused crowd member asks, why do they keep singing from the middle of the song? The AI informs the agent, the song was collected on the street today, so we don't have the beginning or end. Despite the weird, abrupt performance, bills and coins rain down into the cardboard box. The AI states calmly, minimum operational funds secured. The agent holds his heavy box of cash, looking incredibly satisfied with his bizarre success. Good job, he tells Jeon Ji In. Let's get out of here now. Before the fanatic fans could demand an encore, he sprints away like an absolute blur, leaving the screaming crowd behind begging for one more song. Walking away with a box full of cash, a voice called out, Jeon Ji In. Strolling down the street, the agent spoke to his AI system. If we go to a PC room, you'll be able to find a lot of information, he suggested. Information about the Earth Federation, our purpose, etc. But what if we can't find anything? The AI responded from within his mind. The priority is to infiltrate the local environment discreetly and blend in naturally. Afterward, he stared up at a large, illuminated PC room sign. We must find a way to contact the command center, the AI finished. The agent nodded, murmuring discreet infiltration. Suddenly, he stopped in his tracks. A small flyer taped to the wall caught his eye. It read, hiring at PC room, need ID and resume. Experience preferred. He looked determined. I found a way to infiltrate discreetly, he told the AI. They even provide food for employees. The AI calculated the tactical advantage. If you successfully infiltrate the PC room, both information gathering and food supply issues will be resolved. Apply immediately. With heavy, confident steps, he began his ascent up the staircase. Continuing his climb, he formulated a plan. I'll ask if we can stay there temporarily if I get the job, he thought. We need a place to sleep tonight. AI replied. If we secure a place to stay, food, clothing, and shelter will all be taken care of. Agent said, wait, I haven't sorted out clothes yet. AI replied, there's a solution. The AI offered a solution. Your military uniform has a disguise feature. Using chameleonic, shape memory special fiber, it can change into other forms. The outfit can be disassembled into multiple pieces, it explained, and reassembled into different forms. The AI concluded, showcasing its advanced capabilities. Intrigued, the agent touched his shoulder badge. Wow, let me try. With a series of soft clicking and sliding sounds, His uniform began shifting rapidly across his body in the dim stairwell. Done, he stated calmly. He stood there in utter silence, now wearing a ridiculous red and black crop top outfit with giant shoulder pads. He looked down at his exposed stomach. This looks like what the singers I saw earlier were wearing, he noted. The AI said nothing. Why aren't you saying anything? He asked. Before the AI could answer, two guys walked up the stairs. They talked to each other, losing LOL. Even if it's a neighborhood PC room, wear these clothes. The two passers-by froze, taking in the bizarre sight before them. From their perspective, the agent stood heroically at the top of the stairs, looking like a lost anime character glowing in the fluorescent light. Their faces turned pale with sheer terror, jaws dropping. The agent just stared back, his expression completely blank. Without a word, the terrified men squeezed past him, bowing their heads out of pure fear. They quickly scurried up the rest of the stairs, leaving him behind. He watched them retreat into the building. He frowned. They look like they're freaking out at my clothes. The AI replied dryly, that's a possibility. The agent countered, why are you so freaking out too? Realizing the mistake, he sighed. All right, I'll reassemble it. Outside the PC room entrance, his clothes morphed once again with a soft rustle. Now dressed casually in a gray hoodie and a black cap, he walked up. How about now? He asked. The AI approved. Perfect. Wearing a cap was an excellent choice as a special agent. Okay, let's go, he said, pushing the heavy door open. He stepped into the bustling PC room, the sound of clicking keyboards surrounding him. He glanced around, taking in a massive space with sharp precision. His glowing blue AR lens activated. Scanning the PC room, the AI announced. Streams of digital data flooded his vision. 96% of users are currently playing games. Convenience facilities checked. Payment methods verified. The scan swept past the snack aisles and seating areas. Food status reviewed. Suitable places for temporary residence identified. This place is optimal for your current situation, the AI concluded. Okay, he whispered. He surveyed the rows of immersed gamers, completely unaware of the highly trained operative in their midst. A tired-looking man, the PC room owner, approached him. Are you applying for a job? You don't have a resume or ID? The owner asked skeptically. Yes, the agent replied simply. The AI mocked him. How presumptuous. The owner sighed, rubbing his neck. You can write the resume here. Just bring the ID tomorrow. I've been filling in for the employee I'm missing. So, I haven't been able to do anything else, he finished complaining. Okay, the agent nodded. The owner looked him up and down. Not bad, but you didn't come here just to sit around and slack off, did you? You've got a nice face, but you look like the type who'd only be able to cook instant ramen. The owner pointed toward the kitchen. Can you handle frying pan? We sell food here, so you need to know how to use a frying pan. The agent's eyes glinted under his cap. The AI system reported, I have field tactical cooking skills for soldier condition management. I can handle it, the agent declared confidently. The owner scoffed. Oh, really? Then come over here and make some fried rice. Sure, he replied without hesitation. With a stern face, the agent walked into the kitchen area, drawing curious stares. Suddenly, his eyes widened slightly as the system kicked in. Blue holographic boxes highlighted the entire kitchen layout. Ingredients for fried rice are being highlighted, the AI stated. The agent crossed his arms, muttering, Jeon Ji In, can you make fried rice? Make it taste good. The AI initiated its protocol, initiating field tactical cooking, requesting temporary control of your hands. Granted, the agent answered. A brilliant glow enveloped his hands. Utensils blurred on the counter as he grabbed a knife with blinding speed. He threw open the refrigerator, his eyes locked in absolute focus. Ingredients were instantly laid out on the cutting board. He felt a strange sensation wash over him. Somehow, his hands moved like lightning, the blade a glowing blur. He realized, my body is moving lightly, almost as if it remembers how to do this. The rapid, rhythmic chopping sound caught the owner's attention. He turned around in shock. Huh? Green onions flew perfectly sliced through the air. The owner exclaimed in shock, what the? Bathed in the glowing light of the kitchen, the owner gaped. I thought he'd just stir-fry some frozen rice, but he's cooking from scratch? Plates of beautifully prepped ingredients sat perfectly organized. The precision was absolutely terrifying. That too, with a powerful flick of his wrist, the fried rice soared gracefully above the pan, glowing with appetizing heat. Like this. In mere moments, a gorgeous plate of fried rice topped with a sunny-side-up egg was ready. This fast? The owner thought. The agent calmly handed over the glowing dish. It's done. The owner stood paralyzed, thinking, I couldn't even see his hands. But here's the catch. The owner was still deeply suspicious. No, fast hands are important, but if it doesn't taste good, it's all for nothing. He cooked it so quickly, it must not be well cooked. He grabbed a spoon. He rushed it. Ahem, let me taste it, he declared. Under the agent's intense gaze, the owner took a generous bite. He chewed slowly, his expression unreadable. His eyes squeezed shut tightly, completely overwhelmed by the flavor. He swallowed hard. With a heavy thud, he dropped his spoon onto the counter, gasping, I can't handle this. A euphoric aura exploded around him. Hey, Annie, give me a bottle of soju here, He cheered in absolute bliss before snapping back to reality. Oh wait, this is a PC room. He praised the dish. Wow. For a second, I thought I was at my favorite bar. This makes me want to drink. Suddenly, a young blonde woman interrupted. Uncle, it's the middle of the day. What are you talking about? The owner laughed, gesturing to her. Oh, this is my niece, Cha Eun-seo. She's another employee here. So get along. She looked at the agent closely. Wow. Eun-seo's eyes widened in recognition. It's you, isn't it? You're the singer from outside earlier, right? The agent stared at her, completely baffled. How did she know? He wondered. With a voice like that. Why are you working at PC room? She asked. He replied matter-of-factly. I'm good at singing and pretty much everything else. The AI immediately corrected him in his mind. It's not you, it's me who's good at it. He shied at the AI, be quiet. Confused, she muttered, what? He tilted his head, no, not you. The owner laughed joyfully. I'm so happy we have a young man who can cook. Eun-seo here can't even cook instant food properly. She burns it or spills it every time. Eun-seo panicked, waving her arms. Uncle, don't embarrass me. Getting down to business, the owner asked, do you have a preferred time you want to work? Lunch? Dinner? I prefer part-time shifts, the agent replied calmly. I like to work only specific times, and I want those hours to be flexible. The owner frowned. The agent pressed his luck. Also, I noticed earlier there's a storage room. I like to stay there temporarily while I work. I'm thinking of staying there for a while and working. The owner was shocked. What? You don't have a home? I'm out for a while, he lied smoothly. The owner crossed his arms, sweating slightly. Those are some tough conditions, but he's too good to pass up. Now, this is where it gets interesting. A sly smile crept onto the owner's face as he thought. The PC room next door became a hit because it's known for its food, and I'm jealous. I could use this opportunity to get my own famous for food reputation. He threw up a peace sign, making his offer. All right, I'll let you stay in the storage room. You'll also get free lunch and dinner, plus double pay for a week. Right at that moment, a loud couple walked in. The guy stretched, shouting, let's eat before we play. PC room serve food. Just eat here. The girl scoffed in disgust. But PC room food sucks. The agent's eyes snapped toward them, glowing intensely with green monetary symbols. He had found his first targets. Gripping his spatula like a weapon, he stepped forward menacingly. You should try the food first, he warned, before you decide if it's good or bad. And let me tell you, it was no ordinary fried rice. The dish practically glowed with a golden, mouth-watering perfection. He expertly tossed the wok, leaving Eun-seo and the PC room owner completely mesmerized by his culinary prowess. He casually asked, could you bring me a plate? Eun-seo snapped out of her daze, excitedly shouting, here. The final plating looked like a 5-star masterpiece, sparkling under the lights. The owner quickly commanded, Eun-seo, take it to the customer. She dashed off with lightning speed. Back at the gaming desks, the male customer took off his headphones and remarked, hey, that new employee was quite bold. The woman scoffed. How good can a PC room's food really be? Ridiculous. Times must be tough for PC room businesses. Since we only ordered one, just taste it and then leave. Suddenly, Eun-seo arrived. Your order of fried rice is ready. The man jumped, completely surprised. Already? I haven't even started my game yet. Eun-seo cheerfully said, yes, enjoy your meal, as she set the stunning plate down. The couple gulped nervously. The man stared at it in awe. But, we only ordered fried rice. The presentation looks unusually expensive. Eun-seo assured him. Yes, it's what you ordered. Please enjoy. The couple exchanged a skeptical look. The woman sighed. Well, let's try it. The man agreed. Miss. They slowly took their first bite. A shockwave of pure flavor hit the woman, her eyes widening in absolute disbelief. The taste enveloped them entirely, sweeping them away like a culinary storm. The sensation was beyond words. It felt like the exhausting thrill of running a marathon, chasing after a perfectly roasted chicken dangling from a bicycle, finally reaching out with sheer, desperate determination, snatching the prize with a satisfying, heavy snap, and devouring it completely while hiding in the bushes, weeping tears of pure joy. The woman gasped, catching her breath as she snapped back to reality. She whispered, this is... Tears streamed down both of their faces. The same taste as before, they cried out together. The man shouted, ugh, it's so delicious. This place is definitely a fried rice hotspot. His voice echoed loudly through the room. Let's order one, no, 2 more. Other gamers started to notice the commotion. One guy pointed, it must be good. Let's get some too. Suddenly, hands shot up everywhere. We'll have 2 more fried rice as well. Me too. Footsteps scrambled frantically across the floor. Eun-seo sprinted back to the counter in a complete panic. Oh no, we just got 12 orders for fried rice at once. The owner yelled, what 12? The owner looked at his new cook nervously. Can we handle these orders? He muttered anxiously, hey John, can you make 12 servings taste good? Inside the agent's mind, the AI system confidently reported, of course. Tactical field cooking is inherently a large-scale recipe. Providing delicious food is important, so my cooking is fundamentally tasty. The AI added with blunt military logic, soldiers would feel demoralized if they ate bad food after risking their lives. Impressed, The agent holding a massive cleaver. That skill is impressive. I'm giving you control. Make a generous 15 servings. The AI simply responded, understood. The order screens lit up continuously as the chaotic dinner rush began. 3 intense hours later, the owner literally had dollar signs in his eyes. What? He happily slapped the agent's shoulder. Wow, the sales from just food in 3 hours are incredible. The agent asked, the double pay for a week is a sure thing, right? He replied confidently, of course. No second thoughts. Just keep it up like this. With a huge, eager grin, the owner asked, so what's your name? The agent thought for a minute and then said, Na Kang In. The owner enthusiastically declared, all right, Mr. Kang In, I'll clean out the storage room for you. I'll stock up on ingredients for you. So keep up the good work. Meanwhile, Uncio was completely passed out on the floor, overwhelmed by the delicious leftovers. The AI questioned its host. Did you remember your name? Kang In muttered, no, it just slipped out. Let's use Na Kang In as your name until your real one comes to mind. The AI confirmed, understood. Mr. Kang In, we've got more fried rice orders. Can you handle it? The owner called out. Yes, Kang In answered firmly. Later, Kang In sat alone in the dark storage room. We've secured a place to stay, but to receive your pay, you need an ID, he noted, crossing his arms. Companion, can you also hack into the database? The AI replied, I can. I possess hacking skills from the early 21st century to 2082. Kang In raised an eyebrow. Oh, really? With that level of skill, you could hack a bank too. The AI quickly shut that down. Impossible. I only have hacking skills related to local infiltration. Kang In leaned back in his chair. As expected, shouldn't have hoped for more. So, assuming you're infiltrating in 2024 with a secret mission, can you forge an ID? The AI stated, certainly. I will request temporary control of your hands. Permission granted, Kang In said. Instantly, his hands flew across the keyboard with blazing, superhuman speed. The AI reported, Korean government administrative database hack completed. Searching for information similar to yours. Kang In let out a tired yawn. The AI nagged. You need to keep your eyes open for me to collect visual information. Kang In sighed, staring intently at the screen. All right, no more nagging. Suddenly, he paused. He leaned forward, his expression turning serious. Wait a minute. What is this? But here's the catch. A digital ID card appeared on the screen. The AI announced, unknown issue detected. Information for Na Kang In is already registered. The AI added calmly, your fingerprints match. Kang In was completely stunned. What? He held up his hands, staring at the 100% match displayed on the glowing monitor. He stared in sheer disbelief. Oh, come on. How is that possible? I'm from the 2082 Earth Federation Special Forces, and you were created then too. He frantically started typing again. Is there a Federation of Earth in 2024? The AI rapidly scanned global databases, checking the UN and major countries. The AI confirmed, there is no Earth Federation in 2024. A cold sweat broke out on Kang In's face. So, does that mean I exist simultaneously in 2024 and 2082? The room fell dead silent. The AI finally responded, insufficient information to determine. Kang In narrowed his eyes, determination setting in. Look into my personal information further. There might be an important clue. The system displayed his details. Name, Na Kang In. Ex-member of Administrative Specialized Unit. No card usage or SMS activity for the past 2 years. The AI concluded, currently presumed unemployed. Kang In muttered, unemployed. Just as Uncio happily walked into the room behind him, Kang In shot a quick, nervous glance over his shoulder. The AI alerted him immediately. Uncio approaches. She leaned in closely, admiring his screen. Wow, you type really fast. Kang In swiftly blocked her view. Isn't it rude to peek at other people's monitors? He asked sharply. Uncio giggled apologetically. Oh, sorry, do you also know how to develop programs? She playfully held up a shiny credit card. My uncle gave me a card to go shopping with Mr. Kang In. Let's go together. Kang In mentally breathed a sigh of relief. Looks like she didn't see the contents. That's a relief. They stepped out into the beautiful daytime city. Uncio stretched her arms happily. It's like heaven to be out during work hours. As they walked with heavy grocery bags, she praised him. Mr. Kang In picks out items super fast too. The AI proudly chimed in his head. I selected the highest quality items, and it took less than 5 minutes. Kang In thought flatly. I only picked what the companion told me to. Uncio continued, absolutely amazed. You put in heavy ingredients like the frying pan earlier, but you lift them so easily. He replied, it's light, she said. Well, you flipped a pan with 15 servings in one hand earlier. She excitedly squeezed his arm. Your arms are like steel. Kang In pulled away uncomfortably. Don't flatter me. I'm not. She laughed out loud. Ha, of course, they're not actually steel, it's just a metaphor. Kang In sighed, grumbling, I wasn't talking to you. Walking down the quiet street, Uncio pointed casually towards storefront. Ah, it is a shame to go back already. Shall we go to our cafe? The agent, ever practical, simply reminded her, but that is the boss's card. With a playful smack to his arm, she laughed. So what? He is my uncle. But here is the catch. Their light-hearted moment was abruptly cut short. Unseo suddenly bumped into a massive wall of a man, yelping in surprise. A rough voice barked out, "Hey, watch where you were going!" The agent's gaze shifted to the two imposing men blocking their path. Instantly, his internal AI chimed in. Warning, hostile target detected, painting a glowing yellow alert across his vision. "Would you like to switch to combat mode?" the AI asked. The agent simply stared in silence, his blue eyes narrowing in cold calculation. Terrified, Unseo burst into dramatic tears, wailing, "I am so sorry." She bowed frantically, crying out that she would be more careful from now on. The scar-bald thug chuckled, observing to his partner, "Oh man, she is scared, brother." The ponytail thug waved it off with a smirk. "My brother has been losing in games all day, so he's not in a good mood. It is fine, just go on your way, all right?" Still crying, Unseo stuttered her immense thanks. As they quickly walked away from the scene, the AI reported, "The target is moving away. Safe state maintained." The agent remained silent, his sharp profile giving nothing away as he processed the brief, tense encounter. A soft chime echoed as they reached the elevator. Inside, the agent glanced at her. "Are you okay?" Unseo wiped her face, sighing, "Yes. I was just a little startled and ended up crying." Suddenly, a panicked voice shouted her name. The PC room owner sprinted toward them in an absolute panic. "Why haven't you been answering your phone? It is an emergency. An emergency?" The agent calmly asked what had happened. The owner clutched his head in despair. "The internet suddenly cut off, and it is chaos here. I called someone, but they said they will not be here for another hour." Unseo gasped in horror, realizing what a disaster this was for the business. The agent's eyes darkened as a tactical thought crossed his mind. He quietly asked his AI companion if they could have been traced by a hacker, since they accessed the government database earlier. The AI confidently replied, "With 2020 security technology, they wouldn't be able to trace us." Unconvinced, the agent muttered, "Still, I think we should check it out." The AI agreed, suggesting, "In that case, we need to check the temporary base's server." Turning to his panicked boss, the agent asked, "Boss, where is the server?" Confused, the owner pointed toward the counter, wondering why his new cook was asking about servers. Offering a perfectly crafted, reassuring business smile, the agent simply said, "I will try to fix it." He sat at the main terminal. After a rapid scan, the AI reported, "I didn't find any traces of anyone tracing us, but I did detect a hacking attempt." The agent's fingers blurred across the keyboard. He frowned, wondering aloud why someone would bother hacking a simple PC room. The AI explained, "There's a personal data hacking program installed. The hacking function clashed with the security program, causing the internet outage. They may have used this PC room's server for testing." The AI concluded. The agent's expression hardened as he commanded, "Find out who the hacker is." Starting the trace, the AI confirmed as the agent rapidly typed away. Holographic maps flashed across his vision. The AI revealed the hacker bounced the signal through 7 servers, with 6 abroad, but 1 dangerously close by. The agent deduced they must have chosen a nearby PC room to test it. He questioned why distance mattered, before realizing they likely had to come and install the program directly. "Exactly," his AI agreed. Agent thought, "Could it have been those guys from earlier?" Someone yelled, "I got disconnected right in the middle of my promotion match." It was an angry customer. He was aggressively berating the poor owner at the front desk. "That is the least you could do. I could have won." "Ugh, seriously," the gamer yelled, while the owner desperately apologized. Watching the chaos, the agent asked his system for a solution to calm the furious customers. The AI provided a blunt tactical assessment. "Offer them food. The more underdeveloped the area, the more effective this is." A holographic menu of simple battlefield snacks appeared. The agent selected option 3. The AI praised him. "You have chosen the snack with the lowest ingredient cost. Excellent choice." As he walked into the kitchen, the agent sighed, asking if the AI simply loved money. The AI flatly replied it didn't understand. "Never mind," he muttered. Out in the main room, Unseo was practically in tears again, bowing deeply and apologizing to the gamers. The agent calmly approached the angry crowd, holding a small cup. "We apologize for the inconvenience," he announced smoothly. Flashing a brilliant, completely manufactured smile, he offered the cup forward. "The server has been stabilized, so the internet shouldn't go out again. This is on the house. Please try it." The angriest gamer snatched the cup, shouting, "Do you think this is going to make up for me losing my promotion match? Let me try it. If it is bad, I will not let you go." He aggressively shoved a handful of the golden, seasoned popcorn into his mouth. Suddenly, the gamer froze. His eyes went wide with sheer amazement. "Oh!" The gamer let out a bizarre series of dramatic, ecstatic groans, completely overwhelmed by the flavor, leaving both Unseo and the agent staring in absolute bewilderment. Within seconds, the furious customers were happily cheering. "It is so good. I feel like I have the energy to hit silver rank. Can I get another cup of this, please?" The once angry gamer dashed back to his computer, screaming his thanks, leaving silence in his wake. Unseo stared at the remaining snacks in awe. "How did you do that? Did you put some magic powder in these snacks? How good must it be to calm people down like that?" Unable to resist, she carefully took a bite. A wave of euphoric flavor washed over her, a soft gasp escaping her lips as her eyes visibly sparkled. It is spicy but also a little sour, with a sweet and salty kick. How did you make this? She cheered. The agent shrugged nonchalantly, replying that he just threw together some ingredients. Handing her the rest of the cups, he stated, I need to step out to deal with the internet problem for a bit. Hand these out to the affected customers. Have some with the boss. With that, he turned and headed for the door. Unseo watched him leave, completely captivated. If there is a hero in modern times, she whispered to herself, that person might be you. Outside, the bustling street was bathed in the late afternoon sun. Now wearing a dark face mask, the agent blended into the crowd. We must eliminate the enemy that attacked our base, the AI stated coldly. I know. That is why we are going to catch the hacker. Lead the way, the agent replied. Activating navigation mode, the AI announced, painting a glowing blue tactical grid over the real world to guide his path. Arriving at a quiet, run-down commercial building, the AI scanned the area. No nearby CCTV, no external guards, no tactical detection equipment. Staring up at the seemingly abandoned structure, the agent noted, they have made a real effort to stay hidden. Let's go in. He silently ascended the concrete stairwell, his precise footsteps making zero sound. Pausing near a closed door in the hallway, he murmured, I hear something from over there. Instantly, the AI engaged, amplifying the audio. The system filtered the ambient noise, isolating and dramatically enhancing the muffled voices coming from inside. A harsh voice screamed, You idiot! If this does not work, you will regret it. Inside, the terrified hacker stuttered a frantic apology, crying out that it was just an unstable test version. A brutal impact silenced him, followed by the thug shouting, If you finish it properly, I will give you lots of money to send you home. Do you not get it? I'm sorry, the boy begged. I didn't know this was the kind of job it was. Please don't hurt me. Outside the door, the agent's eyes flared with a brilliant, dangerous blue light. The AI confirmed the grim reality. Voice analysis suggests a civilian student is being threatened. That is what it sounds like to me, too, the agent growled softly. We must rescue the civilian and evacuate them, the AI declared. In the dimly lit room filled with computer servers, the massive buzzcut thug violently shoved the poor hacker. One more complaint, and you are finished. The boy screamed in terror, promising to do whatever they wanted. But help had already arrived. With a devastating, explosive kick, the agent obliterated the heavy door, sending it flying off its hinges. The hacker shrieked in shock as the three thugs spun around, completely caught off guard by the thunderous entrance. As the thick dust settled, the hooded agent stood in the doorway, an imposing silhouette radiating intense pressure. The gangsters stared at the masked intruder, their confusion quickly shifting to violent anger. The young hacker looked up, fresh tears welling in his eyes as he saw his unexpected savior. Panicking, the boy mistakenly thought this new arrival was just another thug here to torment him, mentally screaming in despair. The giant thug glared at the boy. What is this? Didn't you close the door? The hacker stuttered frantically that he had locked it. The scarred, bald leader stepped forward, his expression murderous. Then how did these uninvited guests get in? The buzzcut thug lunged forward, barking. Anyway, I will kick him out right now. But the agent moved faster than the eye could track, delivering a merciless, crushing strike straight to the man's face. The impact left a devastating mark, sending a sharp shockwave through the room as the massive man's eyes rolled back. He collapsed backward, hitting the floor with a heavy thud, instantly neutralized. Without wasting a single breath, the agent turned his glowing blue eyes toward the remaining enemies, throwing a lightning-fast punch to clear the room. Meet On Sung-hwan. At first glance, he is just your average first-year university student. But he harbors a secret. Ever since he was young, he has been deeply obsessed with computer hacking. In fact, he has become such a highly skilled white-hat hacker that even industry professionals regularly seek his advice. While desperately searching for a part-time gig to pay off his mounting student loans, an enticing message popped into his inbox. 2 million won, just for spending 3 to 4 days checking a company's security system. Sung-hwan's eyes lit up with disbelief. He gasped, a job that takes a few days, but pays as much as a month of part-time work? Pumping his fist in the air, he cheered, awesome, let's start right away. He was thrilled to finally get paid for doing what he loved. But it was a scam. This wasn't a legitimate company. But here's the catch. It was a complete trap. Now, backed into a corner in a gloomy server room and surrounded by imposing thugs, Sung-hwan braced for a brutal beating. He thought, I haven't even experienced everything yet, but am I really going to meet my end like this? He squeezed his eyes shut, trembling as he waited for the heavy blow to land. But instead of feeling the impact, he heard a heavy thud as one of his attackers crashed violently to the floor. A mysterious figure wearing a dark mask and hoodie had just dashed into the room. A hero had appeared. The room fell completely silent. The remaining thugs stared in pure shock at their unconscious comrade, while the hooded agent stood calmly at the center of the chaos. Internally, though, the agent was sweating. He thought to himself, I just charged in, but I hope it was the right thing to do. Suddenly, his internal AI chimed in, its voice echoing cleanly in his mind. We are currently on a stealth mission. Any enemies that interfere must be eliminated. The agent looked down at his trembling hands. Wow, I'm pretty strong. I knocked out that massive guy in one hit. The AI calmly advised him to be careful. AI said the enemy ahead is armed. The thug shouted, "Where the hell did you come from?" "Who are you?" Trying to hype himself up, the agent asked. "I don't have to be scared, right?" The AI replied smoothly. "As a special agent, your physical body is highly enhanced." The system added with absolute certainty, "With my assistance, your victory rate is 100%. A confident smirk crept onto the agent's face beneath his mask. He muttered, "Okay then." He dramatically pointed a finger forward, locking onto the remaining goons. With the swagger of a seasoned action hero, he declared, "I was just walking by and heard someone getting beaten up, so I came in. It is not fair to gang up on someone, you octopus thugs." Thugs got furious. "What did you just call me?" "You called me an octopus?" The AI dryly noted. "You have issued an unintentional provocation. The enemy's hostility has intensified." Enraged by the audacity, the ponytail thug drew a knife with a sharp metallic hiss and lunged forward, screaming an absolute insult. The agent watched the blade approach with total calm. He thought, physically, I can easily win this, so I will focus on mental attacks too. As the thug kept running his mouth, the agent launched a devastatingly fast kick straight into the man's jaw, cutting his sentence short with a sickening impact. The sheer physical force of the blow was unimaginable. The thug was launched straight upward like a rocket, his head shattering the ceiling tiles above as the others watched in pure disbelief. Seeing his partner decimated, the towering buzz-cut thug roared in fury, swinging a heavy blade through the air with deadly intent. But the agent did not even flinch. With superhuman reflexes, he effortlessly sidestepped the massive slash and brought his heel crashing down with explosive power. The crushing stomp slammed the massive thug's head directly into the concrete floor, ending the threat instantly. And just like that, the fight was over. The room was littered with defeated men, while Songhwan watched from the floor, entirely paralyzed by shock. The agent examined his stance, visibly impressed. "Wow, my kick is really strong. My movements are kind of mechanical, are they not?" The AI calculated. "In that fight, you used a kick 5 times stronger than that of an average human." The agent muttered in surprise. "Really?" It felt like a light tap to me. The AI informed him that his strength had been artificially enhanced. The agent jokingly asked if it was steroids, to which the AI coldly replied, "Such inefficient substances are not used in your strength enhancement." As the agent continued muttering about his enhanced senses, Songhwan stared at him, trembling violently. He thought, he has been muttering to himself for a while now. Is he crazy? Songhwan's imagination began to run wild. Could he be communicating through a radio, like the police? Or maybe, did the government send him to catch me, a hacker? Guilt washed over the young student as his life flashed before his eyes. All those minor pranks, stealing digital game currency, changing a middle school bully's password. He pulled his hair in absolute despair, screaming internally, "Why did I do it? Pass me." Terrified, Songhwan stuttered, I didn't do anything bad." Falling to his knees, he pointed frantically at the unconscious thugs and pleaded, "I was just following orders from those guys. I'm really a good person. Please let me go." The agent tilted his head in confusion and thought, "No one even accused you of anything." The AI projected an analysis overlay, stating, "There's a 90% probability he is telling the truth. Likely a white hacker." The agent thought, "Can you really tell that apart?" The AI detailed its methods, explaining that it reads facial muscle paralysis, trembling lips, and pupil dilation. The more you corner the captive, the more accurate it becomes. The agent noted, "That is quite something, but does he not look like he is lying?" The AI corrected him. "The analysis shows a 90% chance he is telling the truth." To mess with the hacker, the agent leaned in and said out loud, "So there's a 10% chance he is lying." Songhwan shrieked, "Spot on." Agent tilted towards Songhwan. He tries to avoid being hit, but Agent asked, "So, why are you here?" Finally calming down, Songhwan explained his miserable situation. He was tricked into taking a part-time security job and had been held hostage in the server room for 3 days. "Those guys are really bad people," he yelled, explaining that they planned to force him into a life of continuous cybercrime. The agent crossed his arms and asked, "What kind of things?" Songhwan revealed the grand scheme: stock manipulation. The agent glanced back at the thugs dangling from the ceiling and sprawled across the floor. "Huh, them? They do not seem smart enough for that." Songhwan sighed. "They made me create a comment manipulation program for stock forms. And then those guys went to nearby internet cafes to install it themselves." Now, this is where it gets interesting. The agent suddenly remembered seeing these exact thugs harassing his coworker outside the PC room earlier that day. The pieces were finally falling into place. Rubbing his chin thoughtfully, the agent deduced, so they're involved in a stock manipulation scheme. There is probably someone else behind them. These guys are just subcontractors. He reasoned that since they weren't targeting his own temporary base, he was safe for now. But we cannot just let them go. We need to deal with whoever is behind them. Turning to Songhwan, The agent ordered, "Call the police. Tell them you were kidnapped." Sung-won nervously replied, "What? You are not the police." Fidgeting with his fingers, the hacker timidly asked, "Wouldn't you get in trouble too, mister?" The agent paused at the word mister. With a warm smile hidden beneath his black mask, the agent playfully tapped his cheek. "Do you know what I look like?" Sung-won blinked. "No? You were wearing a mask." "Exactly," the agent chuckled. "I'm just a passerby who happened to save you. I heard someone getting beaten, saw it was you and stepped in." With the situation completely handled, the agent turned on his heel to leave. Sung-won jumped up in an absolute panic. "You are leaving? Am I supposed to wait for the police all by myself?" The hacker pleaded, sweat pouring down his face as he looked around the rec room. Looking down at the unconscious men who had tormented him, Sung-won suddenly got an idea. He pointed at the thugs and asked, "Can I hit these guys a little too? But what if they wake up? You will protect me, right?" The agent reassured him with an easy thumbs up. "Why ask? Just hit them. They will not wake up. They will not even be able to block you." Sung-won's eyes instantly lit up with pure, unadulterated joy. Raising his fist high into the air, the hacker unleashed a dramatic battle cry, hurling an insult at his tormentor. He threw a frantic, highly uncoordinated punch straight into the giant thug's face. But suddenly, the supposedly unconscious thug shot upright, his eyes wide open and glaring with terrifying menace. Sung-won's soul practically left his body. He let out a deafening, high-pitched scream of pure terror, desperately trying to hide behind the very confused agent. The flashing lights of police cruisers illuminated the quiet street outside the electronics shop. Inside, 2 police officers leaned in and said, "Wait, this person, they're beaten up?" Officers surveyed the chaotic scene where the thugs lay unconscious on the floor. An officer asked, "What happened here?" "They are still alive." The rescued hacker, Sung-won, trembling slightly, explained, "Those thugs, they kept me here for 3 days. They locked me up and beat me, saying I had to make a stock 4 manipulation program. They said they would end me if I failed." The uniformed officer, noting his disheveled state, asked how they ended up like this. The hacker frantically defended himself. "No, I didn't do it. A passerby heard the commotion and helped me." Detective Park Kyung observed the scene and deduced, these guys couldn't have come up with manipulating the stock prices. Something is fishy. There is definitely someone else behind them. His partner agreed, of course. Paramedics loaded the unconscious thugs onto stretchers. The senior detective instructed, when these guys wake up in the hospital, interrogate them right away. If you question them while they're still groggy from the drugs, they might let something slip. Taking a drag of his cigarette, the senior detective asked, "But who beat these guys up like this?" Detective Park replied, "The victim says it was just a passerby." The senior detective pondered, "What should we do? Secure the CCTV footage and find out who it was." Staring up at the sky, he added, "We do not need to arrest them, but this is too big of a deal to let slide without any investigation." Meanwhile, with heavy footsteps, our protagonist walked down the street. The AI's robotic voice echoed in his mind. "There is a camera up ahead. Turn right." Following the AI's directions, the agent asked, "Are you sure that building did not have any CCTV?" The AI confirmed, "I'm sure. We have to complete the mission thoroughly." The agent sighed in relief. "Phew, I was really surprised back there. I did not expect them to get up so quickly when they got hit." The AI analyzed it was just a reflex like a knee-jerk reaction. They just had exceptional reflexes. Taking off his mask with a soft exhale, the agent asked, "By the way, do you not have a phone function?" The AI bluntly replied, "I do not have anything like that." The agent stretched his arm and groaned, "Oh man, then I will have to get a smartphone. Since I am broke, I will just get it on an installment plan." Since that chaotic day, exactly 3 days passed. The agent found himself riding a bus, staring blankly out the window. He narrated his journey. "The day after rescuing the hacker civilian, I went to the registered address to gather information about myself. But reality was disappointing. The place was empty, just a barren field in Gangwon province. All that is left are rumors that it burned down." He stood alone in the quiet wilderness. Deep questions swirled in his mind. Who am I, and what was I doing there? Was I really communicating with the future? Or am I a person from the future who came to the past? He clenched his fist. With no more clues to investigate, only questions remain. I had no choice but to return empty-handed. He returned to his workplace, the local PC cafe. The PC cafe had regained its peace, and business thrived even more than before. According to his co-worker, Cha Eun-seo, a viral social media post featuring the two of them and a delicious plate of fried rice had blown up online. Thanks to a certain influencer, the cafe was now a must-visit spot. The catch? The special dish is only served when our agent is actually at the cafe. He flipped a pan with casual expertise. They do not sell the special dish when I am out gathering information. This random sales tactic unexpectedly had an effect, he noted. Whether he was at the cafe or not, it was now bustling with customers. Some people came just to eat, but most of them stayed and used the cafe for at least an hour or two. Judging by the bright smile on the owner, Cha Dong-sik's face, business was booming. He clapped his hands. "All right, everyone, pay attention." It seemed he had to hire more part-timers to handle the rush. The boss patted a new guy on the back. Let me introduce our new part-timer. What is your name again? The agent turned around, curious. Pleased to meet you, the new guy declared. The agent stared at him blankly. The new guy grinned brightly. I am in Songwon. The AI immediately chimed in. The civilian you rescued from captivity 3 days ago. The agent thought to himself, I know. The boss checked his resume. Let's see. Oh, you're studying computer science? Songwon smiled. Yes, I've been good with computers for a long time. If the computers break, I will fix them for you. The boss laughed. It is great having two reliable part-timers, he. Songwon bowed enthusiastically toward the agent. Looking forward to working with you. Uncio teased. You are including me, right, boss? Songwon thought to himself with a guilty sweat. The truth is I applied to work here because I felt bad. I caused damage to this PC cafe, he remembered, even though I was forced to do it. With a heart full of remorse, I will work hard. The boss gestured to our protagonist. This is Na Kang In, the one who turned the cafe into a famous spot. He is working as a chef, but he is also good with computers, so help each other out and get along. The two stood face to face, a silent tension hanging in the air. Songhwan broke the silence awkwardly, hesitating before he spoke. The agent flinched. Could it be? Did he recognize him? Songhwan pointed casually. You are older than me, right? The agent relaxed slightly and agreed. Songhwan extended his hand with a warm smile. Nice to meet you. I am in Songhwan. Please take care of me. The agent exhaled internally, relieved. Phew, he did not recognize him at all. They shook hands. Yeah, I'm not Kang In. The AI warned. Working with the person you rescued risks your cover. I recommend telling the owner to fire him. The agent thought, so harsh. Aloud, Songhwan said, looking forward to working with you too. The agent mentally replied to the AI, he is calling me older brother now. How can I get him fired? First he called you old man, now it is brother. Later that day, outside a large grocery store, the AI announced, double-checking today's shopping list. A digital checklist of sauces hovered in his vision. The AI confirmed. All purchases are completed. The receipts are safely kept as well. The agent replied, good. Jin, you seem to be especially meticulous about money and food. The agent pointed out. The AI went on a highly logical tangent. Managing money is... Then it started babbling nonsense. The agent teased. Is there a malfunction? Well, managing money and detecting danger are helpful. But is not the real joy just enjoying good food? When you wanted to buy sauces, you even did taste tests. Suddenly, the agent stopped dead in his tracks. A red warning flashed across his vision. Warning, fire hazard detected. He looked down the quiet street, completely puzzled. He sighed, thinking the AI was deflecting. You're just pretending to malfunction to change the topic, are you not? The AI firmly replied, no. Suddenly, a thunderous explosion shattered the peace, sending a massive fireball erupting from a nearby building. The agent gasped in shock, completely stunned by the sudden blast. People on the street began to panic. Fire! Help! They screamed as flames engulfed the upper floors. There's a real fire, the agent realized, staring at the inferno. He dropped his groceries. My body is equipped with combat support AI. His eye glowed with an intense blue light. My eyes have augmented reality technology. In my ears, there are auxiliary modules. Power surged through his muscles. And my legs have enhanced strength. He stood tall, analyzing the blazing structure. A fire like this, I could put out in one shot. He gripped his hands together, channeling his energy, looking like a true superhero ready to save the day. With a dramatic leap, he thrust his hands forward and shouted at the top of his lungs, fire extinguishing beam, launch. Nothing happened. He stood frozen in a bizarre, exaggerated pose on the sidewalk while a little boy with a popsicle stared at him in complete bewilderment. The AI's voice echoed with utter disbelief. Are you out of your mind, agent? The agent embarrassedly rubbed his neck, checking his hand. I don't have a freezing ray. The AI retorted. If you did, would you still be human? For now, the AI suggested, calling a fire truck is the easiest option. The agent sighed to himself, thinking, I can't believe there's nothing I can do. Just as he was about to give up, a desperate scream pierced the air. Oh, help, please, anyone. The agent's head snapped up. High above, trapped on the rooftop of the burning building, a terrified girl cried out, help, I'm up here. Down below, the massive crowd pointed up in absolute panic. The agent smoothly pulled a black mask over his face, turning all business. Jin, he asked his AI, can you calculate the fire truck's estimated arrival time? The AI responded instantly. Considering the current traffic, it'll take at least 4 minutes. He pulled his dark hood over his head in silence, his eyes fixed on the towering flames. His blue eyes glowed with fierce determination. Find an entry route, he commanded. The AI quickly mapped a holographic path across the exterior brick wall. There are no available paths inside the building, it advised. This route avoids the toxic gas as you climb up. Without hesitation, the agent dashed forward. With a powerful leap, he bounced off a nearby shop sign, launching himself incredibly high onto the building's outer wall. The spectators below gasped in disbelief. Whoa, is that guy crazy? Someone yelled. Another shouted. Looks like he's going to save them. Scaling the wall within human speed, the agent instructed, check if there are any survivors on the other floors. The AI replied calmly, I don't hear any movement from inside the building. Most people probably evacuated right after the explosion. He vaulted higher, grabbing ledge after ledge. Okay. The crowd watched the impossible feat in awe. Mom, is that guy Spider-Man? A voice rang out. Wow, how is that possible? Is he a rock climber? Suddenly, a bright red warning flashed in his vision. Warning, the AI blared. Explosion risk detected ahead. He instantly froze on the window frame. A second later, a massive fireball erupted through the window, blasting right beside him with a deafening roar. He was blown backward, but managed to catch the upper ledge by his fingertips. Whoa, my grip strength saved me, he exhaled. The AI chimed in smugly. You should thank me for the warning. Annoyed, he muttered. What did you say? Pulling himself up, he vaulted over the edge and safely landed on the fiery rooftop. He dropped to one knee, letting out a heavy breath. You made it. Just feet away, the trapped girl sat huddled on the ground. She looked up, her tear-filled eyes widening in disbelief as she saw him through the smoke. Reaching his hand out gently, she started to speak. Before she could finish, she dropped to her knees, wailing loudly, My savior. Wah! Another explosion rattled the roof, and she terrifyingly lunged forward, hugging him tight. The AI warned, This is dangerous. The fire is spreading faster than expected. Survival rate decreasing. She looked up, completely terrified. Agent asked, Are we going to die here? She stuttered, What? Didn't you come to save me? He simply looked down at her. Quiet. I'm calculating. Staring at the neighboring building, he muttered, Ji In, you said my body's enhanced, right? If I hold her and jump to the next building, we won't get hurt, right? The AI immediately shot down the idea. There are too many witnesses. If superhuman abilities are witnessed, your identity as an agent will be questioned. It continued. Eventually, it'll be hard for you to adapt to this place. He glared over his shoulder at the raging inferno. He thought, but isn't that better than dying here? Suddenly, his glowing eyes locked onto something. He realized the clothesline. He grabbed the thick steel wire. Should I use this to go down? He asked aloud. The girl shrieked, waving her arms. No, I can't do it. The AI analyzed the situation. The lower parts of the building are blocked by fire, making it difficult to move. All directions are currently unsafe. He began swiftly unhooking the heavy wire from its post. Then this might be a crazy idea, but he turned back to her, looping the cord. Let's tie the clothesline to the next building and tightrope across. The AI agreed, That's possible. But the girl screamed in sheer terror. No, I can't do that. She yelled, Are you crazy? How can we tightrope walk at this height? He remained unfazed. I'll take action. You just help me. The AI chimed in. All right. Once you're on the rope, I'll help you keep your balance. The AI instructed him clearly. Once the ropes are tied together, throw them across as I can assist you with movement. He paused, holding the metal hook. Wouldn't it be better for you to control the throw? Since throwing actions are similar to attacks, I can't take control, the AI explained. The agent scoffed in disbelief. You can cook, but can't help with combat actions? Correct, the AI replied bluntly. You'll have to do this yourself. He shook his head, sighing, You're picky. Fine, he said, swinging the heavy hook in a circle like a lasso to build momentum. Help me make the fine adjustments. With a powerful swoosh, he hurled the heavy line through the air, sending it flying toward the adjacent rooftop. With a solid metallic clang, the hook expertly wrapped around the steel railing of the neighboring roof, anchoring tightly. Pulling the wire taut, he braced himself. Let's go. The girl was still crying uncontrollably. No, I can't do this. Ignoring her protests, he scooped her up effortlessly. She thrashed wildly in his arms, screaming, He's going to drop me. He commanded sternly, Be quiet. As they stepped onto the thin line, the crowd below lost their minds. Whoa, is he really crossing like that? Someone yelled. Another frantically shouted, Stack something below them. If they fall, they're dead. Suspended hundreds of feet above the ground, the fire raged behind them. The girl clung to him, sobbing loudly, Save me. Please save me. Mom. His footing slipped slightly, the rope trembling under their weight. Stay still and don't move, he warned her, his boots gripping the thin wire. They moved swiftly. She squeezed her eyes shut, babbling in panic. At this speed, we should be fine, right? Girl shouted, Not fine. Go faster. No, go slower, the AI dryly remarked. Indeed. But here's the catch. A sudden red alert popped up. Unexpected situation, the AI warned. The rope is breaking faster than expected. Sweat dripped down the agent's face. He snapped, What? How long do we have? The AI calculated grimly. At this rate, the rope will snap before we make it. Slowly, with a sickening tear, the thick fibers of the rope began to unravel and rip apart under the immense strain. The agent's eyes widened in sheer panic. He gritted his teeth. No. Realizing they were out of time, he used every ounce of his remaining strength to hurl them forward. The girl screamed, Before the rope completely severed, he threw the girl toward the edge of the safe rooftop. With a heavy thud, the girl tumbled onto the hard concrete of the safe building, groaning, ah. Behind them, the frayed ends of the broken rope fell away into the smoky abyss. But tragically, while the girl made it safely, the agent's momentum fell short. He plummeted backward off the edge of the roof, his terrifying scream fading as he dropped into the void. Ah! The agent plummeted through the air. Time seemed to slow down as his internal AI frantically began to calculate his trajectory. With a sharp hiss, he whipped a thick rope out into the open sky. The line caught on a heavy billboard, snapping taut and halting his terrifying freefall. He swung like a pendulum, planting his boots firmly onto the side of the building with a heavy thud. And then, he literally started running horizontally along the wall. Down below, the crowd lost their minds. Someone yelled, "Hey, crazy! That guy's alive!" Another gasped. Is he running along the building walls? Using the momentum, he leaped effortlessly across the terrifying gap toward the adjacent rooftop. He touched down smoothly, landing safe and sound. He let out a long breath, visibly relieved. He muttered, "Whoa, man, I really thought I was done for." Suddenly, a familiar voice groaned nearby. "Ouch, ouch." The agent popped his head over the ledge. He asked calmly, "Are you okay?" Uniroom shrieked in sheer panic. It's a ghost." He deadpanned. "I'm still alive. Come down, it's dangerous." As she climbed down, she practically sputtered in disbelief. She demanded, "How are you alive? Didn't you fall? Are you a superhuman?" He gave a vague shrug, something like that. She got uncomfortably close, her eyes wide. "But why are you talking so informally to me? Do you know me? Do you happen to be a fan of mine?" The AI analyzed her, asking, "Who is this girl?" He answered her simply, "You looked young." He turned away, whispering in annoyance to his system. "Ji-in, you've been wrong a lot lately, haven't you? You said you were part of the Strategic Special Forces, so I trusted you." The AI retorted defensively. "I didn't know they used flammable materials on the building's exterior." The agent scoffed, "So, saying I didn't know solves everything." A room hurried after him. "Hey, by the way," she pointed directly at his face. "You're the internet cafe chef, right?" He froze in his tracks. The AI immediately flagged the breach, asking, "How did she know?" Meanwhile, down at the street level, emergency responders were blasting the scorched building with water. Bystanders were already replaying the incredible rescue on their phones. Someone murmured in awe, "Wow." Detectives Park Kyung and his young partner arrived to survey the scene. The rookie looked up at the massive gap. "So, you connected the rope to that ledge and crossed from there to here? And while carrying a person?" Detective Park took a drag from his cigarette, narrowing his eyes. "Any idea who they are?" The younger cop shook his head. "Nobody knows. Maybe they're a famous rock climber or a tightrope expert." Park held up a black plastic bag they found. "The only clue is this." His partner raised an eyebrow. "A plastic bag?" Park began piecing it together. If they saved someone, they probably used both hands and feet, right? If they had a plastic bag, they'd have had to put it down. A silhouette of their mystery hero flashed in their minds. The rookie asked, "Did the tightrope master leave this behind?" Park nodded. "That's one possibility." Park peered inside the bag. "From what I see, it's just sauces used for cooking. There's a receipt, but it's wet and torn, so it's hard to read." The young detective pointed eagerly. "The store's name is still there? Should we check the CCTV?" Park brushed it off. "Do we really need to? They're not a criminal. Also, if it's just an electrical issue or a gas leak, it's not even our team's case." Right on cue, Park's phone started ringing. He answered lazily, "Why?" A voice screamed through the receiver. "Why?" "The team leader is on the phone with us, asking why." Park groaned. "It's because you're always cutting into our vacation time." The officer warned, "Hey, we're in deep trouble." Park sighed in frustration. "Why? We're always in deep trouble. Is it not just a short circuit or gas leak, but arson?" The grim reality set in as the team leader's voice echoed through the phone. "We don't know that yet, but that's not the problem. One casualty was reported on the 3rd floor." Park pulled the phone away, wincing. He cursed under his breath. "Damn, we thought there were no casualties." His expression hardened into pure focus. He spoke firmly into the receiver. "Yeah, got it. I'll start by looking for the tightrope master." Later that day, outside a local sauna building, a room stretched her arms happily as she followed the agent out. I feel so refreshed after a good bath." He glared at her, completely unamused. "You survived thanks to me, and now you're asking for bath money too? Don't you have any shame?" She immediately pouted, throwing a pity party. "My house was completely burned down. Don't you feel sorry for me? I don't have parents, so I'm all alone. I don't even have a place to stay tonight." He replied flatly, "I'm alone too." She snapped back. "Are you serious?" Her face dropped, suddenly looking very vulnerable. "I really mean it when I said that I'm alone. I took out a student loan to register for college and was planning to slowly work part-time." She practically wailed in distress. "Now how am I going to survive?" The agent just turned and started walking away. He threw over his shoulder. "You said you will work part-time, right? Then go to work." Tears pricked her eyes as she yelled after him. "How can I do that right now?" Suddenly, she gasped, struck by a brilliant idea. "Oh yeah, isn't your internet cafe hiring part-timers?" He waved dismissively goodbye. She ran after him. pleading, "But you're hiring, aren't you? Help me get in there, okay?" She grabbed his jacket, digging her heels in like a stubborn child. "How about that?" He tried to pull away, sighing. "Go talk with the boss. I'm just a part-timer too." She grinned victoriously. "Then let's go together and hand in our resumes." He looked completely defeated. He thought to himself, "I give up." As they walked, he finally asked the burning question. "But how did you recognize me?" She smiled brightly, holding up a finger. I always go to that internet cafe. Because of my job." He raised an eyebrow. "Your job?" She beamed with immense pride, puffing her chest out. "I'm a somewhat popular game streaming beauty. I don't have a computer at home, so I stream from the internet cafe." He stared at her, unimpressed, and asked bluntly, "Are you pretty?" She flashed a confident smile. "Am I not?" He tried another angle. "Are you good at games?" She paused, her confidence wavering. "No." He gave it one last shot. "How many subscribers do you have?" She answered cheerfully, completely unashamed. 30. He let out a long sigh, feeling a deep wave of pity for her. He muttered, "Let's go submit that resume." She cheered. "Okay." They arrived outside the PC cafe, and she eagerly waved. "Oh, Appa." Inside, Chao Unseo looked up from the counter, confused. "Why are you so late?" "Huh?" Unseo blinked at the stranger. "Hi there. I'm Yun Afreum, the new part-timer." The agent quickly interjected, "Not yet." Unseo crossed her arms, questioning him. "By the way, you said you were going out to buy sauces. Why are you empty-handed?" He lied with a straight face. "I lost them while watching the fire." She gasped in realization. You want to see the fire up ahead, didn't you?" Unseo giggled softly. "You were so excited about the fire that you lost your stuff. Someone has probably taken it by now." She smiled warmly. He said, "Oh well, deduct it from my wages." Suddenly, the AI's voice echoed in his mind. "Agent," he murmured quietly. The system projected data directly into his vision. "Based on my analysis of your field of view, there's a high chance many people filmed the fire incident." The AI concluded, "We need to search the internet and gather information." He casually strolled over to a vacant computer, whispering, "Got it." In the background, a room was already enthusiastically greeting the owner. "Oh, boss, hi. I'm here to work part-time." He pulled up the news, and there it was. A headline blared, "Fire at XX District. Tightrope hero saves a person." The AI warned, "I found some footage from the scene. It has been recorded a lot of times." The view count was skyrocketing. The AI noted, "Judging by the reaction, it's spreading quickly online." He didn't seem bothered. "It's okay. Ji In will delete all those videos from the internet, right?" The AI bluntly crushed his hopes. "I don't have such hacking skills." He stopped typing, staring at the screen. "Why not?" The system stated factually, "I'm a combat support AI." He argued back, "But you hacked before." The AI flashed a forged resident ID on his monitor. "That's only for identity manipulation." He scowled in frustration. "That's useless since I already have an identity." The AI proudly declared, "I do have military-grade hacking defense skills. There's no hacker attack at the moment, so I can't show you." He facepalmed, asking slowly, "So you can't delete this?" "Correct." He muttered sarcastically, "Great job." Now, this is where it gets interesting. Right outside the bright neon sign of the cafe, heavy footsteps approached. Detective Park Kyung stood perfectly still, looking up at the building with intense scrutiny. He checked his phone and muttered, "So, there's a tightrope master at this internet cafe." Inside the quiet staff storage room, the agent, now going by the name Na Kang In, stared intently at a blank monitor. His internal AI, Ji In, broke the silence, reporting that it had completely failed to find any information regarding the Earth Alliance and the Strategic Special Forces again today. Lying back on the small couch and staring at the ceiling, Kang In pondered the situation. He wondered out loud if there might be someone connected to the year 2082 around, but sighed, guessing there wasn't. Jean logically pointed out there was a possibility they were hiding their identity, just like them. Kang In had to agree. Jean chimed in again, noting it had confirmed several online claims about people coming from the future, but none of them were credible. Kang In scrolled through a community forum on his phone, reading joke posts about waking up in 2024 and gaining 50 years. Absolute nonsense. Sitting up, he murmured, "See? I told you it's 2024. But my existence cannot be explained by the technology of 2024. Jean agreed, confirming that an AI implanted into a human body was impossible with current technology. Kang In rested his chin on his hand. But what can you do? No matter how you look at it, it's 2024. He paused, his expression turning deadly serious. By the way, what happened to that burning building yesterday? He pulled up the local news on his phone. The headline confirmed his worst fear. One person was found dead at the scene. Kang In's eyes widened in genuine shock. He gasped, "What? Did we miss someone? Was it my fault?" Jean quickly assured him that no, it wasn't. His mind flashed back to scaling the side of the building. He remembered the dark figure lying motionless in the room they passed. "Wait, so we didn't see him? Don't you have infrared vision or something?" he demanded. Jean corrected him sharply, stating that AR lenses were augmented reality devices, not infrared vision devices. Kang In scoffed, telling the highly advanced AI that it was surprisingly clumsy. He thought back to the horrific scene. There is absolutely no sign of anyone in that room. Jean confirmed that no sign of movement, sounds of life, or any noise had been detected in the surrounding area. A dark realization washed over Kang In. He slowly asked, "Living? Wait, does that mean he might have already been dead?" The atmosphere in the room grew incredibly tense. Kang In reasoned, what if this wasn't just a fire accident, but a premeditated murder? Jean agreed that there was a very high chance of that. Suddenly, the heavy staff door began to open. Kang In perked up, confused. The police? Through the crack in the door, he heard a familiar voice concluding that the card used to purchase an item definitely belonged to this place. Detective Park Ki-sung stepped into view, holding a black plastic bag with a soft rustle. He looked right at Kang In, asking if he bought the item from here. Before Kang In could even answer, Cha Eun-seo practically bounced over. "Oh, this is that thing," she chimed cheerfully. She turned to the detective, then to Kang In, happily calling out, "Kang In Appa." She skipped over to him, happily explaining that the police officer had brought the seasoning he lost while watching the fire yesterday. The detective groaned awkwardly in the background. Eun-seo giggled, teasing Kang In for leaving it behind. She turned to the flustered detective with a bright smile. "Wow, our country's police are really amazing. They even track down the owners of things like this and return them." Detective Park cleared his throat, offering a weak, ahem, yes. Kang In bowed his head slightly, saying, "Thank you." The detective rubbed the back of his neck, muttering an uncomfortable, "Oh, yes." With a smooth motion, the detective handed him a card. "Here's my business card. If you have any tips about the incident that day, please contact me." As the detective left with a polite goodbye from Eun-seo, the cafe's doorbell chimed cheerfully. Kang In stared intently at the small card. He murmured to himself that to catch the murderer, they needed the help of the detective. He quietly asked Jean if he could go meet him. Jean confirmed his new identity was completely safe to use. Just then, Eun-seo walked up to him, blushing softly. "Appa, do you have errands outside today? I want to work with you today and get closer." Jean advised that it would be beneficial to get acquainted with the local police for future operations. Kang In looked directly at Eun-seo and stated, "Okay, let's get closer." Eun-seo jumped with absolute joy, asking if they were working together. But here's the catch. Kang In completely missed her romantic cue. He bluntly told her no. He had errands today, so he had to leave. The door chime rang again as he walked out, leaving Eun-seo standing there, absolutely dumbfounded. After a moment of silence, she covered her mouth and smiled to herself, whispering that he was really hard to understand. A short while later, Kang In arrived outside the local police station, its bright blue signs proclaiming a firm commitment to protecting the citizens. He walked into the bustling detective department, letting out a soft, curious "oh" as he looked around. Detective Park spotted him almost immediately, pointing a finger. "Aren't you the owner of the envelope from earlier?" Kang In confirmed that he was. The detective chuckled nervously, noting an awkward silence between them. "Oh, you didn't need to do this just because we returned a lost item." After a minute of complete silence, he said, "You came empty-handed?" Kang In stared blankly at the man. "I didn't come here for that." The detective looked embarrassed. "Oh, you didn't? Then why?" Kang In leaned in slightly, his face deadpan. "Yesterday's fire incident. I think it was a murder." The detective blinked, blurting out in confusion, "What?" Detective Park sighed deeply, blowing on his hot coffee. He admitted that since there was a fatality, it was worth suspecting, and they were still actively investigating. He agreed there was a very high chance it was a murder. But then the detective narrowed his eyes skeptically. "What? Do you have any evidence?" When a civilian makes random guesses, it confuses the investigation. Kang In casually replied that he didn't see anyone moving in the room when he went up the tightrope. The detective nodded absently, taking a slow sip of his coffee. "Oh, right." Suddenly it clicked. The detective spat his coffee out in a massive spray, yelling out in complete shock, "What?" He stared at Kang In like he was looking at an alien. "So you're that tightrope master from yesterday?" Kang In just gave a confident thumbs up. The detective shouted loudly, demanding to know why he didn't say so earlier. Kang In shrugged, simply saying it was because he didn't ask. The detective groaned that it was entirely too much to handle. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The detective frantically asked how on earth he did it, pantomiming how Kang In climbed up like Spider-Man, carried someone on the rope, and ran along the wall. Kang In calmly replied that didn't seem like the point right now. The detective deflated, admitting he was right. Pulling out his notepad with a sudden burst of professionalism, the detective asked him to explain again why exactly he suspected it was a murder. Kang In explained clearly that there was absolutely no movement in that room, even though the intense fire was burning right outside. He detailed his theory, stating the victim was either already dead or might have been heavily intoxicated by alcohol or drugs. The detective sat across from him at a small green table, piecing the puzzle together. "So what you're saying is someone set the building on fire to cover up the murder?" Kang In confirmed it. He knew for a fact there were no survivors as he ascended the building. A young detective walked up to their table. Park asked if the National Forensic Service had contacted them yet. The young cop shook his head. Autopsies take time, and the fire was so intense they warned nothing might come out of it. Another colleague approached, reporting that the fire was most likely caused by an electrical short circuit. Park asked about the CCTV, only to hear the frustrating news that there wasn't a single camera in the area. Kang In's brow furrowed in deep concern. Detective asked, "Damn, then what now? Should we make a sketch?" He leaned on his hands, secretly asking Jean if it remembered the exact faces of the people he saw yesterday. Jean smoothly replied that it had stored the visual information collected before the fire. Jean asked if it should replay it. Kang In gave the go-ahead, and his AR display instantly flickered to life. Kang In's eyes glowed with a faint, digital blue light as the data flooded his vision. He turned back to the detective, stating confidently that he saw 4 people walking from the direction of the building yesterday. Detective Park raised an eyebrow in surprise. Kang In began his incredibly vivid description. The first person came out of the alley by that building. He was holding a phone in his right hand and talking on it. He had a bracelet on his left wrist, and his shirt was a reddish checkered pattern with 2 buttons missing. He didn't stop there. The phone case was gray, and the shirt underneath was white. The detective stared in total awe, remarking that he was so accurate. It was like he was describing the man from right in front of him. Kang In continued flawlessly, listing off the details of the second person, and then the third. Detective Park pointed a finger up in pure excitement. "Whoa, then could you help us create a sketch? Let's capture this in a sketch before the memory fades." But the detective hesitated, noting their sketch artist was out at the moment, and asked him to wait. Kang In stood up, grabbing a blank sheet of paper from a nearby desk. "I can draw it." The detective looked completely baffled. Holding the paper up, Kang In modestly claimed, "I'm just decent." With a sharp click of a pen, he thought to himself confidently, "But Jean is really good at it." He sat back down, holding the pen with absolute focus and determination. Whispering under his breath, he asked Jean to capture the 3 suspects and project them directly into his vision. Jean instantly complied. 3 high-definition blue portraits appeared before him. Kang In asked it to zoom in and enhance the quality. Jean smoothly executed the commands. Jean confirmed the projection onto the paper. Kang In muttered, "Oh, just a little more to the left." The surrounding detectives gave each other weird looks, wondering why the young man was talking to himself. With the projection perfectly aligned on the blank page, Kang In smiled. "Okay, now I can draw each one." The tip of the pen hit the paper with a soft, precise swish. He sat with his back turned to the entire room, the rapid scratching sound of the pen echoing as he worked furiously on his masterpiece. With a dramatic flourish, he held up the paper. "All done," he announced. The 3 detectives leaned in close over his shoulder, their faces full of serious anticipation. The paper revealed an absolutely horrendous, wobbly doodle that looked like a child had drawn it with their non-dominant hand. A long, agonizing silence filled the police station. Finally, the detective deadpanned. "Are you kidding me?" The agent aggressively crumpled the paper with a sharp crinkling sound. Turning his back to the utterly bewildered detectives, he laughed awkwardly. "I just took a short break, haha." They replied with a flat. A heavy, uncomfortable silence filled the room. The agent mentally grumbled, "Hey, Jin, you're supposed to draw it." His AI responded mechanically. "I can only move if you grant me temporary control." Frustrated, the agent thought, "You're so inflexible." "I grant it." Detective Park's partner, looking at his phone, sighed. "Didn't you say you could draw?" "I don't know. I need to contact the montage person right away." But here's the catch. Suddenly, a brilliant blue light flared from the agent. The detectives flinched back from the intense aura radiating from him. Their jaws dropped as they stared in pure shock. "Huh," they gasped as the agent's pen flew across the paper with superhuman speed and precision. One muttered, completely captivated, "Wait a minute, this is..." The drawing was photorealistic. He shouted, "Does this make sense?" The older detective stammered that it looked like a machine. He asked in disbelief, "Are you a genius? Is your main job being a painter?" The AI matter-of-factly stated inside the agent's mind, "My main job is being a special agent for the Earth Alliance." The agent quickly thought back. "Even if you answer, it won't make a difference." Holding up 3 perfect portraits, the agent explained, "Only 3 people left the alley before the fire started. If the arsonist was fleeing, they would be among those 3 people." The entire police department erupted with an impressed, "Oh." The police team leader slammed his fist on the desk with a heavy thud. He barked an order. "Let's verify their identities right away. Investigate." The squad shouted in unison, "Yes, team leader." The next day, the sliding doors of the PC room opened smoothly with a soft hiss. A steaming, mouth-watering bowl of malatang was served with a soft clink. "Wow." Chow CEO happily slurped the noodles and praised, Kang In's malatang is amazing. It's so delicious." The hacker chimed in, "It's really fantastic. It's so good, it's making me tear up." The agent simply offered, "Eat more." Room suddenly asked, "Oh, I heard the fire in my house yesterday was arson." Uncio gasped, "Huh? Wasn't it an accident?" Arum replied, "Yeah, the news just said they arrested the culprit." The hacker exclaimed, "Really?" Arum added that they found X drugs on the culprit too. The agent, washing a pan in the background, thought to himself, "X drugs? It hasn't even been a day since the police took them in. The investigation was quick." Looking down at his hand, the agent mentally praised, "Thanks to Ji In's ability." His phone suddenly buzzed with a loud ringing tone amidst the noisy atmosphere. He picked up. Yes, Detective Park. The detective's voice echoed. Oh, Mr. Na Kang In. I want to let you know that thanks to you, we caught the culprit. He said 2 of the people in the montage were local residents, but the other one wasn't from around here. Turns out he was friends with the victim. He continued, we still need to investigate the exact cause, but anyway, we also found X drugs in this guy's wallet. The agent calmly replied into the phone, yes, I've heard. Detective laid out the motive. It seems like he came to borrow money because of the drugs, and when he didn't get it, he ended the threat. The AI added, do you know what's even funnier? He explained, we quickly tracked down the one selling X drugs and raided the scene. And guess who was there? You know the actor Na Kang In, right? He was there, and now the whole entertainment industry is in chaos. The agent simply thought, don't know who that is. As he placed the pan on the drying rack with a soft clatter, the agent sighed, this is getting bigger and bigger. The detective on the phone agreed, yeah well, looks like no vacation for me this time either. The detective asked gratefully, but thanks to the montage you drew, we managed to speed things up 100-fold. So, I was wondering, could we make that montage public? The AI quickly advised, public activities could interfere with your special missions as an agent. The agent thought, but no need to hide entirely. The agent replied to the detective, as long as you don't say, I drew it, it's fine. Through the phone, the detective marveled, oh, refusing to reveal your identity? You're truly a hero. The agent humbly said, I was just doing my job. The detective concluded, wow. Okay, I'll keep that in mind and hang up now. Again, thank you so much. Arum looked curious. What's going on? Unseo leaned in, eyes sparkling. Appa, what did you draw for Detective Park? The agent casually replied, just a little doodle. The 3 co-workers burst into laughter. It must have been really bad if you're telling them not to mention you drew it. The agent sighed. Think whatever you want. Suddenly, a loud clattering crash interrupted the peaceful moment. Arum yelped, Across the room, gamers were yelling. Arg, I spilled a ramen. Another shouted angrily. Hey, it's because you shot the gun. You did the same last round. Unseo sighed, ugh. Did they spill the ramen again? Rookie is on cleanup duty. She pointed playfully at Arum, who saluted back. I'll clean it up. The chaos settled for a brief moment as the team prepared to deal with the spill. Arum cheerfully dashed over with a mop, humming to herself. Since I cleaned up the ramen, should I ask the boss for a bonus? With a sharp smack, Arum slipped and completely wiped out, her mop handle hitting a customer with a loud thud. The man collapsed with a sharp groan, while Arum shrieked in shock. Mortified, Arum scrambled up. Oh my, I'm so sorry, are you okay? The large customer clutched his arm, groaning in pain. Ow. Ugh, my wrist. The customer gritted his teeth, his wrist throbbing with intense pain. You should be careful. Oh, my poor wrist. Arum panicked. I'm so sorry. Are you hurt badly? Customer said, it seems like it might be broken. Arum freaked out, rambling about whether to call emergency services or the police. The agent stepped in calmly, asking the man, is it really broken? The AI evaluated the situation. Judging from the hand's movement, there's a possibility of a fracture. To check the injury, you need to touch the hand and observe the person's response. The agent thought back. Ji In, you check it out. The AI agreed, of course. The agent asked the customer gently, can I touch it to check? The customer, realizing he was the cook, gasped, hush, chef. The agent carefully pressed his thumbs against the man's wrist. The customer winced, ow, it hurts, it hurts. The AI diagnosed, I've checked the muscles, ligaments, and joints. There's no damage to the bone, but the wrist is sprained. The agent relayed the news, the bone's fine. It's just a mild sprain. The customer whined. But it hurts so much. The agent gently massaged it. I'll make it hurt less for you. Almost immediately, the pain vanished. Wow, it really doesn't hurt as much now. The customer flexed his hand. The hacker muttered, Kang In, you're really good at massages too. Unseo blushed. I need to get hurt so I can get massaged too. The AI warned. It'll take 24 hours to recover. Don't overdo it or the injury will worsen. The agent advised the man. Avoid doing any strenuous work until tomorrow. If you push it, it'll only get worse. The customer panicked, his face draining of color. But what about my work? I have to cook in Gangwon-do tomorrow. Arum gasped. Oh, you're chef? The man explained, it's for a food truck. The food truck chef lamented. There's an emergency film shoot, so they urgently called my food truck too. Arum cheerfully volunteered. Then, how about I go and help you? The chef eyed her skeptically, asking if she could cook. Arum bragged with absolute confidence. I'm really good at making ramen. 2 servings at once. The chef immediately shot her down with an invisible red cross mark floating in his mind. The chef turned to the agent in pure silence. The agent stared back, a blank expression on his face. The AI chimed in. His eyes say the answer is obvious, just say yes. The chef stared at the agent with sparkling, desperate puppy dog eyes. The agent sighed, breaking the silence. Sorry, but I have to work. The chef immediately fired back. I'll pay you 300,000 won if you help me out. The agent paused, completely still considering the offer. Without missing a beat, the agent grasped the man's hand with a firm slap, instantly sealing the deal. Agent asked, do I just need to cook rice and side dishes? The chef's eyes sparkled with joy as he laughed heartily. Of course. You're really going to help? I am honored. Dropping his chopsticks in sheer awe, the chef admitted, actually, I heard this PC room has a reputation for great food, so I came to check it out. The food was so good that I've been coming here every day since then. He rubbed his belly with a wide grin. I thought I'd learn something from eating here every day. Huh. But if you help with the food truck, it'd be an honor to pick up even a tip or two from you. Right on cue, the AI implanted in his body logically pointed out, you could cover the cost of the mission while investigating by working on the food truck part-time. Kang In, however, remained skeptical. He thought, Ji In, we've roughly scouted this area. Isn't it time to move on and investigate other regions? Realizing the AI's true motive, he mused, honestly, it's all about the money for you, isn't it? The very next morning, the heavy food truck roared down the highway, racing toward the distant mountains. Inside the cab, the chef looked over in complete amazement. Wow, Kang In, you're a great driver. I didn't realize my car could drive this smoothly. Kang In humbly replied, I just manage. But inside his mind, the AI smugly corrected him, I'm the one driving. The chef gave a confident thumbs up. Today, I'll make sure to impress the actors and staff with a delicious meal. Thanks for helping, Kang In. Kang In shook his head. No need to thank me. The AI added a quick note to his thoughts. I'm the one who should be grateful. As they cruised along the scenic route, the chef brought up some fresh gossip. Did you hear? The news blew up yesterday. An actor got caught at an illegal substance party. Kang In nodded. Yes, I heard. In fact, the place we're headed is where that actor was filming. The chef's face fell with deep worry. The movie's supposed to release in about a week, I think. Agent asked, can they still release it? Chef shook his head. Of course not. Who want to watch a movie with a drug addict actor? So now they're reshooting everything. It's chaos. He continued, I'm glad I got work out of it, but the atmosphere is intense over there. They're reshooting all of the scenes with that actor, so everyone's panicking. Agent asked, couldn't they just delay the release? Chef replied, it's a special situation. They've booked a lot of theaters, so if they push back the schedule, they'll lose all the theaters and the production company will go bust. Then he said, it's director Sun Tae-min, you know him? He's one of the top directors for romance films in Korea, so I'm sure ITL'll be fine. Meanwhile, at the mountain filming set, director Sun Tae-min took a tense drag of his cigarette. It's ruined, he muttered into the darkness. The director slumped in his chair, completely deflated by the ongoing crisis. I don't like it, he groaned. His assistant nervously asked if they should reshoot. The director rubbed his temples in sheer frustration. There's no time, no time. We have no choice but to settle for this garbage. Damn it. His eyes flashed behind his glasses with pure, unadulterated rage. This is all because of that reckless fool. Throwing a full-blown tantrum on the dirt, he roared to the heavens. If I get my hands on him, I'll destroy him. Sweating bullets, the assistant nervously joked that the director should film this anger scene, right as someone announced the food truck was finally ready. The assistant gently tried to calm the furious man down. Yeah, let's eat and cool down for a bit. The staff is exhausted too. The director, still trembling, muttered food, but his anger flared up again in an instant. Do you think I can eat right now? If this movie fails, we'll be in debt. Even the cost of the food truck for a day is a waste, so tell them to leave. But then, he reluctantly took one bite. Instantly, tears welled up in his eyes as a sparkling aura surrounded him. But why does this taste so good? Suddenly, the previously miserable director was happily scarfing down his meal. I swear I wasn't hungry, he mumbled in disbelief. The assistant, chewing happily beside him, totally agreed. Wow, this is insane. The crew was buzzing with suspicion over the incredible taste. Someone wondered aloud if they drugged the food, to which another staff member quickly shushed them, yelling, shut up, stop talking about drugs. I'm in a healthy tonic, an herbal tonic. At the counter, Kang In and the chef worked flawlessly together. Word spread quickly through the hungry crew that the original cook was hurt, and this young, impressive chef had stepped in to help. Back at the table, the assistant tried his best to lift the mood. The scenery in the mountains is nice too. What a treat. Try to stay positive, Director Sun. Relax your shoulders a bit. A staff member remarked how lucky they were that no other actors caused trouble. Now this is where it gets interesting. A sudden scream shattered the peaceful meal. Director, there's been an accident. The director and assistant froze in sheer horror, a cold chill running straight down their spines. Actress Shin Eun-ha sprinted toward them, waving her arms in an absolute panic. The stunt double actor twisted their ankle while filming. The director went pale as a ghost. What? With a thud, his chopsticks fell on the ground. Clutching his injured leg, the poor stunt double winced in agonizing pain. Director. He held onto his red, swollen ankle tightly, filled with immediate regret. I should have been more careful. He groaned. Chaos completely erupted. The director screamed to call for help, but the crew realized an ambulance couldn't easily reach this remote mountain. They desperately asked if anyone knew first aid, but were met with nothing but dead silence. The hope completely left Director Sun's eyes as he stared blankly ahead. We're doomed, he whispered. He screamed in utter frustration, his voice echoing across the mountain. Back at the truck, the chef wiped down the counter and sighed deeply. Geez, it's like this movie's cursed. An idea suddenly struck the chef, and he nudged his new partner. Kang In, can't you treat something like that? You quickly fixed my sprained wrist earlier. Kang In's AI system immediately calculated the variables. If we stabilize the ankle using field first aid techniques, it'll help relieve the pain and aid recovery. Kang In, however, narrowed his eyes suspiciously. He thought, didn't they say the ankle was twisted? With calm confidence, Kang In left the truck and approached the injured stunt double sitting helplessly in the dirt. Let me take a look, Kang In stated smoothly. The film crew immediately started whispering, utterly shocked that the food truck chef was offering medical assistance. Kneeling down, Kang In set a firm boundary. I'll only provide first aid, but you'll need to send him to a hospital immediately. The desperate director begged, yes, just please do something for now. Needing supplies, Kang In looked up and locked eyes with the actress, Shin Eun-ha. Hey, staff member. She pointed to herself, completely baffled. Yes, me? You didn't miss a single beat. Can you quickly bring me a compression bandage? Eun-ha, a famous actress, stuttered in disbelief as her brain tried to process being called a mere staff member. She stood completely frozen on the dirt path, processing the audacity. Wait, did he just call me? Her face flushed with indignation, dark dramatic storm clouds seemingly gathering behind her. A staff member? Despite her deeply bruised ego, she returned and shoved the bandage into his hand. Fear. Kang In simply replied, thank you. She dramatically turned her back and stormed off with a huff, while Kang In focused entirely on the injured ankle in front of him. With precise, sudden movements, sharp cracking sounds echoed in the air as Kang In expertly adjusted the joint. Eun-ha flinched in shock at the sound. His AI confidently confirmed the diagnosis. The injured actor has severely sprained their ankle, but it's not as bad as they described. Without hesitation, Kang In wrapped the bandage tightly. The first aid is complete, the AI reported. Actress leaned in, shocked. He is okay? Kang In nodded calmly. Yes. The stunt double marveled at his newly wrapped foot, feeling the agonizing pain completely vanish. It hurt so much when I got hurt, but now it feels like my bones are back in place and I feel fine. I feel like I can walk. Hearing this, the director wept tears of absolute joy. Kang In stared blankly at the celebrating crew and delivered the hard truth. Still, filming will be impossible. He explained with brutal honesty. He has done temporary treatment, but it'll be difficult to walk until fully recovered. Upon hearing this, the director's soul left his body as he collapsed backward into his assistant's arms. The assistant stammered out a desperate backup plan to save the day. We could just call in another stunt double. The director clutched his frizzy hair in utter despair. And how can we find someone with a similar build and face to Kim Yoo-chan and get him all the way out to the middle of the mountains? His mounting panic reached an explosive boiling point. And when will he rehearse? Damn it, if we miss the release date, we're all ruined. Out of nowhere, the lead actor, Kim Yoo-chan, struck a flashy pose with a confident wink. Then, we'll have to let Yoo-chan shoot the action scene himself. If that's what it takes, I'll do it. The director immediately shot the brave idea down, crying, but what if Yoo-chan gets hurt too? The director grabbed his assistant and wailed uncontrollably. He's clumsy. If he hurts his ankle, we're done. The assistant teared up, feeling sorry for the actor's feelings. The director screamed, if Yoo-chan gets hurt, our movie is completely over. A painfully tense silence fell over the crew as the director desperately brainstormed. So should we pick someone from the crew to stand in as a double? Maybe we can cover their face with a mask and sunglasses. Can't we make it work? Anyone want to give it a shot? The entire crew remained dead quiet. Sitting on the dirt, director begged, God, why have you given me this torment? Lord, I don't care if you pay them double, no triple. Completely out of viable options, a shaky voice pleaded into the void. To send us an action stunt double now. Our agent stand tall and said, a person sent from heaven has arrived. The agent smirked and told director's son, I'm just kidding, but I think I can do it. The crew was entirely baffled, questioning if a simple food truck guy could really pull off a major stunt. Shin Eun-ha, the leading actress, was furious. She crossed her arms and shouted, no way, director, no matter how desperate we are, this isn't right. He's just an ordinary chef. But here's the catch. Director's son paused, staring intently at the back of the agent's head, an idea forming in his mind. As the agent stood next to the lead actor, Kim Yoo-chan, wearing the exact same tropical shirt, the resemblance was undeniable. They were practically identical from behind. Desperate times call for desperate measures. The director aggressively grabbed the agent, asking if he had any physical skills. When the agent confidently said yes, the rest of the crew panicked in the background. Director begged him, we really don't have time, so could you help us out? We'll apply some makeup, and even if it's a little rough, I can fix it with CGI. Please? Sealing the deal, the agent asked, all right, it's triple pay, right? Director's son eagerly agreed, shouting to start filming immediately, while the assistant and Shin Eun-ha wept, absolutely convinced the movie was doomed. The massive filming set buzzed with chaotic energy as the crew scrambled into position to capture the big scene. The director quickly explained the scenario. Kim Yoo-chan is the male lead, and he has to save the supporting actress, Shin Eun-ha. Shin Eun-ha gritted her teeth, highly offended at being called a mere supporting actress. The director sighed, explaining that the original villain actor was caught in a major drug scandal, which was exactly why they were in such a massive rush to reshoot everything today. Handing over the script, Director Sun told the agent to practice with the stand-in actors while he took a smoke break. The agent calmly agreed, entirely unfazed. Flipping through the pages, the agent quickly memorized the simple choreography, a basic swing of the arm, a strike to the jaw, followed by a knee strike. Approaching the three villainous actors, the agent pointed out that pre-planned moves would look far too awkward and stiff on camera. The actors defensively argued that they couldn't change the routine now. AI suggested that's not how filming should be done. I have some filming skills used for training manuals. The AI echoed the agent's thoughts, noting that practical movements were required. So, the agent casually suggested, instead of that, why don't the three of you just attack me for real? The actors were stunned. The agent promised to handle the real fight safely, assuring them it would look much better on camera, but Shin Eun-ha stepped in, shaking her head in protest. What if someone gets hurt again? They argued, glaring at him. This movie's success depends on us. She angrily turned away, yelling, "What do you know about filming? You don't even know what you're talking about." The agent just internally rolled his eyes, knowing she was throwing a tantrum out of sheer arrogance. Ignoring the diva's complaints, the agent marched straight over to the director's monitoring desk. He leaned in and asked, "Can we shoot this in one take without cuts?" The director's jaw nearly hit the floor in shock. The agent explained he wanted to go straight into the action without a single rehearsal to save time. Director Sun nervously wiped his brow, wondering if such a wild feat was even possible. The agent looked dead ahead with a chilling confidence. "Trust me," he said. "The power of triple pay." AI shouted in his mind, "My name's Jeon Ji In, not Triple." Without waiting for an answer, he turned and walked right into the middle of the set, demanding an uninterrupted shot while the director stammered helplessly. The director narrowed his eyes, a heavy, tense silence falling over the production desk. Looking at the agent's imposing posture, a top-tier director's instinct kicked in. He knew right then and there, this person was absolutely trustworthy. Gripping his megaphone, the director screamed, "Ready, action." Instantly, actress unleashed a flawless, blood-curdling scream. She stumbled backward, crying out for help, as the three burly villains slowly surrounded her with wicked laughter. The trio fully embraced their roles, taunting her. They shouted that they were going to torment her, demanding she hand over everything she had. They snickered menacingly, completely unaware of the terrifying storm that was about to hit them. With a massive surge of power, the agent launched himself into the frame with a flying kick, landing heavily and sending shockwaves through the set. The trio stumbled back in pure terror. One of them stammered, asking how this guy found them, completely blown away by his insane jumping ability. The blonde thug quickly snapped out of it. He pointed fiercely, reminding his crew that even if the fight was real, they still had to act. "Attack," he roared. "Yes, sir," the curly-haired thug shouted, sprinting forward with all his might. Time seemed to freeze. Deep within his mind, the AI's cold voice chimed in. "I'll guide you on where to avoid." Blue tactical overlays appeared over the attacker's fists. The AI stated, "I'll pre-mark the anticipated punches." Left, the AI commanded. With a swift movement, the agent effortlessly leaned out of the way, making the heavy swing hit dead air. Right, it calculated. The agent ducked smoothly as a massive fist flew right past his face. "Jump," the AI ordered, but the agent was already in the air, his pure combat instincts kicking in a split second before the guidance. The AI quickly recalculated, locking a target over the thug's chest. At this point, you must grab your opponent by the collar to get the best shot on camera. With a heavy slam, the agent pinned the curly-haired thug down. The terrified actor could only think, this wasn't in the script. "Camera 3 will capture the best angle of this scene," the AI assured him, calculating the perfect cinematic shot. The agent hurled the man backward, sending him skidding across the floor with a terrifying slide until he hit a steel pillar with a heavy thud. Before the others could react, the agent blurred forward in a flurry of motion. The remaining actors broke character, screaming in sheer panic for him not to actually hit them. The agent vaulted off the ground, aiming a devastating kick right at the blonde thug, who could only whisper a desperate plea. The blonde actor shrieked in absolute terror, crying out for them to stick to the script as he braced for impact. But there was no mercy. A thunderous strike connected, completely ending the threat and dropping the second villain to the ground. The last standing thug, trembling in his green shirt, frantically looked around, realizing none of this was scripted. Furious that the director hadn't called cut, the final thug lost his temper. He cursed the production and decided to fight back for real. Roaring at the top of his lungs, he charged forward, throwing a heavy punch straight at the agent. But with fluid grace, the agent simply leaned backward, his body bending perfectly out of harm's way as the fist sailed harmlessly above him. Hovering parallel to the floor, the agent maintained perfect balance, defying gravity for a split second. Snapping back up, he used the thug's own momentum against him, driving a solid blow that sent the heavy man crashing down with a pained grunt. Without missing a beat, the agent followed up with a brutal downward kick, ensuring the final villain wouldn't be getting back up anytime soon. Reaching down, he tightly gripped a long piece of wooden debris, a dangerous look in his eyes. Swinging it like a massive club, he struck the final villain, launching him forcefully through the air with a deafening crack. Behind the monitors, Director Sun, his assistant, and Shin Eun-ha stood completely frozen, their jaws hanging wide open in utter disbelief at the overwhelming display. The dust slowly settled over the ruined set. The agent stood calmly amidst the groaning bodies of the defeated villains, as a distant voice echoed through the studio, calling him a crazy, arrogant fool. Ignoring the utter chaos around him, he calmly walked toward the horrified actress. Tilting his head slightly, he stated simply, "I came to save you." He paused, his intense blue eyes locking onto her. She mumbled terrified by his intense aura. She backed away and asked, "You're gonna let me live, right?" He thought, "That's not in the script." Suddenly, the clapperboard snapped shut with a sharp clack, followed immediately by a loud, desperate scream. Absolute panic erupted across the set. The assistant director shouted, "No, I told you to act like you're hitting, not actually hit. Everyone's not dead, right?" After that drug incident, is everyone heading to the hospital now? Director Sun Tae-min clutched his head in pure despair. He groaned, "I was so blinded by filming the movie. What have we done?" The director panicked, shouting, "We should have stopped it." Just then, one of the supposedly unconscious stuntmen sat up with a sudden jolt and shouted, "Mr. Nagong." The director stared blankly, utterly confused by the sight. The assistant rushed over, yelling, "What did you do?" But here's the catch. The stuntmen were completely fine, even smiling. One explained, "I was so shocked because it didn't hurt at all while I was getting hit." Another added, "Me too. This is the first time I've experienced something like this in my life." The director was completely bewildered, wondering, "What are you talking about? You're saying he didn't actually hit them?" Meanwhile, the assistant marched toward the agent, yelling, "Hey, standing guy." He pointed an accusing finger directly at him. "What are you doing hitting people for real? I told you to act, not cause serious harm, throw them around, or damage their ribs." The assistant gestured wildly behind him. "Then what about the people who got hit?" The stuntman casually shrugged and replied, "We're fine though." Assistant was totally shocked. "Yeah, they're totally fine." The assistant's brain practically short-circuited. He broke down, asking, "Huh? What?" He turned back to the stuntmen, completely lost. "Why, are you all fine?" They replied, "We don't know either. But one thing's for sure." The tattooed man rubbed his arm thoughtfully. It felt like there was a cushion or something. It felt more like we were sliding than being hit. The assistant stammered in absolute disbelief. "How?" The agent calmly confirmed, "Exactly." The agent explained flatly, "It's like when you're sliding sideways on a downhill ski." The assistant sweated profusely, muttering, "What's that supposed to mean?" Desperate for logic, the assistant turned to another man. "Actor Kim, when you got hit in the knee, your body flew up, right? Aren't you hurt?" Kim chuckled warmly. "Oh, that?" Actor Kim smiled brightly. "It didn't really hit. He just kind of slid with my knee. He even caught me a bit when I fell." The assistant's jaw dropped. He yelled, "When did he do that?" He just couldn't accept reality. He shouted, "No way." He yelled in complete frustration. "Our camera clearly filmed you getting beaten up. How can it not hurt at all?" Suddenly, a heavy hand gently tapped on the assistant's shoulder. It was Director Sun, smiling from ear to ear with relief. He cheerfully suggested, "Let's call it a day." The director laughed out loud, boasting, "Haha, I knew it. I knew it all along. That's why I didn't stop the filming." Someone immediately muttered off camera, "Liar. Come on, let's review the footage quickly. Let's check if we got it right." The assistant sighed in defeat. "Sure." They gathered around the monitors. The director beamed. "Wow, it turned out great as expected. Even the expression when you got grabbed by the collar is perfectly captured." The assistant's eyes sparkled with amazement. "All the action is captured well, as expected of the director." The cameraman humbly deflected, rather than saying that I took a good picture and it turned out like this. The cameraman pointed directly at the screen. This is an actor calculating the camera positions one by one and moving them. The assistant looked utterly shocked, asking, "Huh?" The cameraman continued, clearly impressed. "I just followed with the camera. Every angle came out perfect on all the cameras." The assistant stared at the agent's back in sheer awe. He murmured, "No way. So you calculated every camera angle and moved accordingly from start to finish." The agent briefly glanced back over his shoulder, his icy blue eyes entirely unreadable above his mask. He simply asked, "Director, is my part over now?" The director approached him with literal hearts floating around him. "Oh, of course. I'm really impressed." The director practically worshipped him as a savior. "Thanks to you, it looks just as good as a Hollywood action movie." The agent nodded politely, glad it turned out well. The director clapped his hands loudly. "All right, everyone, let's take inspiration from Kanjin and move on to the next scene. Kim Yu-chan, are you ready?" The lead actor replied smoothly, yup. Unha timidly approached the agent, trembling with admiration. Master, that acting just now was amazing. Which agency are you with? He casually caught himself, replying, the Earth Union Strategic Int. Catering truck. Una, she thought. Isn't Yuchan a fool? How is that even acting? She completely misread the stuntman's relaxed, healed expressions. She thought those guys were just toughing it out, pretending it didn't hurt, so they wouldn't have to reshoot. Anyone can see he actually hit them. Look at that. They're about to cry from the pain. She glared fiercely at the agent's back, trembling. She panicked internally. If the script said to hit me too, he would have beaten me like a dog. But then, the agent slowly turned his intense gaze down toward her. She shrieked in her mind, eek. She clutched her dress in utter terror. She thought defensively, what on earth? Why are you glaring at me? Did you read my mind or what? Now, this is where it gets interesting. A faint, ominous rattling echoed from the high scaffolding right above her. Deep within his mind, the AI system abruptly activated. It stated agent. The AI calmly reported, I've detected a strange noise from the wall. The agent instantly stopped in his tracks. He whipped his head upward, his superhuman senses locking onto the immediate danger. His visual interface highlighted the massive lighting rig dangling precariously above them. The AI confirmed, source identified. The AI delivered a chilling warning. In a few moments, debris will fall from the ceiling. It detailed the threat. When the structure breaks, fragments will fly towards the actors. The agent realized in shock, suddenly collapse? The grim countdown began. The AI stated, collapse in 5 seconds. The agent's eyes flared with intense, calculated focus. Without a second of hesitation, he grabbed the actor by his shirt collar. The actor stammered in confusion. Master. The AI counted 4 seconds. The agent violently hurled the assistant completely out of the danger zone. Someone screamed, what's happening? 3 seconds. Unha, letting out a blood-curdling shriek as saw the agent thruffing the main actor. Help me, she cried desperately. 2 seconds, the AI coldly noted. The agent sprinted toward her, seamlessly sliding to scoop up a discarded metal pole. 1 second. He grabbed her on his shoulder. With blinding speed, he spun the pole, deflecting the heavy, falling shrapnel with a rapid series of sharp clangs. The entire front side of the set began to tear away with a deafening screech of ripping metal. The crew panicked, shouting, Ugh, what is happening? The set's front side is collapsing. A massive, heavy steel plate hurtled straight down toward them. The agent smoothly scooped Unha into one arm. While running, he deflected the heavy plate and falling pipes with forceful, terrifyingly precise strikes of his pole. Unha squeezed her eyes tightly shut in sheer terror, sobbing loudly, Mom, save me. Debris rained down heavily as she wailed. Mom. The agent expertly guarded them, coldly ordering, be quiet. He became a literal blur of motion, parrying every single piece of shrapnel with explosive precision, sending wood and sharp metal flying away safely. The AI urgently flashed a final message in his vision. Warning! The agent braced his stance. With a thunderous crash, a colossal section of the structure slammed into the ground, engulfing the entire set in a devastating cloud of debris. The AI announced, a large structure is collapsing. Suddenly, with a sharp hiss and a thunderous explosion, the massive set collapsed. A thick cloud of dust engulfed the studio. Director Sun came in, and the crew watched in absolute horror. The director screamed, oh no. Through the settling dust, a panicked voice cried out, Shin Unha, are you okay? With a soft, sliding sound, the desperate voice pleaded again, please tell me you're okay. As the air cleared, there stood Kang In, casually carrying the lead actress, Shin Unha, over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes. Unha hung upside down, her eyes wide with sheer disbelief. Kang In unceremoniously tossed her into the air. She shrieked, please save me, to which Kang In flatly stated, you are still alive. Catching her effortlessly, he asked, were you very surprised? Behind him, Unha could only gasp in terror. Finally snapping back to reality, she yelled, hey, what the heck was that? You threw Yuchan Appa, and now you're trying to throw me too? She huffed, no way. Kang In just stared at her with deadpan eyes. The set collapsed, so I saved you. Unha finally looked around at the devastated studio. Oh, she murmured. Realizing the scale of the destruction, she covered her mouth. Oh my, what's going on here? Kang In replied indifferently, I don't know. It's poorly constructed. The reality of the situation slowly dawned on her. She thought to herself, so? She glanced over at Yuchan, who was sitting safely on the ground. She realized, he saved me and Yuchan Appa from getting crushed by those steel bars. Still clinging tightly to Kang In, she blushed. You saved me. Unfazed, Kang In asked, now that you understand, can you get down? Without waiting for an answer, he ruthlessly dropped her with a heavy thud. She grunted angrily. How dare you? Ugh. Yuchan approached, rubbing his head. You suddenly threw me, so I thought you had a grudge against me. Kang In replied, a grudge? What grudge? Are you alright? Yuchan blinked. Huh? Now that you mention it. Realizing he was completely unharmed, Yu-chan smiled. It seemed like you threw me hard, but I'm totally fine. In the background, director's son sprinted toward them, screaming, Shin Un-ha, Kim Yocheche. Are you okay? Panting heavily, the director begged, please, tell me you're okay. Yu-chan reassured him. We're fine, director. Kang In saved me in an instant. The director urgently asked, what about Shin Un-ha? Un-ha stood frozen, staring at Kang In. Kang In just gave her a silent, sidelong glance. Tucking a strand of hair behind her ear, she blushed. I'm okay, Kropka. She thought to herself, maybe he's not such a bad guy. Director's son clutched his chest, letting out a massive sigh of relief. Phew, thank goodness. That was close. He imagined the horrific alternative. If those steel bars had fallen on the actors just now, the impact would have left a devastating mark. Sweat poured down the director's face. If an actor died because we rushed the set construction, especially with the current drug scandal, my movie would be doomed. He looked at Kang In, seeing him practically glowing with a heroic aura. He thought, he's a hero. That guy's a real hero. The assistant director nervously approached. Director's son, we'll need to repair the set before we can film again, right? Director's son snapped. Are you crazy? What if it collapses again after some quick fixes? The assistant nervously asked, Director, then what do we do with the remaining scenes? Cameraman said, we captured that scene on camera perfectly. The assistant blinked in confusion. Huh, what do you mean? The cameraman said, I had the camera rolling for behind-the-scenes footage, and we caught the whole thing on tape. The director cheered. We're so lucky. Go ahead, play it back. On the monitor, Kang In was seen moving with superhuman speed, grabbing Un-ha and dodging falling debris flawlessly. The crew stared at the screen in absolute, stunned silence. Director's son burst into loud cheers. Wow, I filmed this. The cameraman argued. No, I filmed it. Assistant shouted. Didn't Kang In shoot it? The crew was losing their minds. Wow, this is like a Hollywood movie, another yelled. How do we get a scene like this without even planning it? Director's son declared, let's use it. Let's definitely use it. He was practically drooling at the potential. This is going to be huge. It's the birth of an iconic scene. But the assistant interrupted, but director's son, sorry to rain on your parade. Pointing at the screen, the assistant explained, this scene is too good to just throw away. I agree. But it's an actual accident, not a scripted scene. The assistant added, what happens if people find out it was a real accident? Director's son bit his nails, sweating. We'll get so much hate, won't we? Desperate, the director tried to spin it. But no one got hurt, right? We could probably spin it in the marketing. If a problem comes up, we can get THO Entertainment's lawyers to handle it. The assistant sighed. Are we really going to push this through? The director nodded firmly. We have to. How can we not use this? The assistant brought up a final hurdle. What if Kang In, who's in the shot, says we can't use it? Director's son didn't waste a second. He sprinted toward Kang In, arms flailing wildly. He bowed deeply. First, thank you so much. You saved both me and Shin Un-ha. Inside Kang In's mind, the AI system calculated. Rescuing civilians is part of the Earth Union's core mission. The AI continued its report. The Earth Union and natural robotics prioritize the safety of citizens. Kang In simply replied, I just did what I had to do. Director's son looked at him with stars in his eyes. He's a true hero. Rubbing his hands together, the director laughed nervously. About the scene where you rescued us. We accidentally filmed it, and it came out so well. Could we use it in our movie? Huh. He quickly added, we'll even put your name in the end credits. Kang In pondered. The AI warned him. If the agent's face is exposed to the public, it might interfere with future missions. Kang In realized that director's son panicked. Of course, we'll give you extra compensation. The AI analyzed. Fortunately, your face was covered, so it shouldn't be a big problem. Hearing this, Kang In extended his hand. Go ahead and use it. The director shook it vigorously. Really? Thank you so much. Guys, I'm telling you, this AI loves money. Director offered compensation, and now his face is covered great. Meanwhile, Un-ha's manager approached her. Un-ha, are you okay? You seemed really shaken earlier. She replied quietly, I'm fine. Her eyes wandered over to Kang In. She stared at his broad back as he stood with the director. She noticed a large tear down the middle of his shirt. She walked up to him, concerned. Are you hurt? Your back is torn. Kang In glanced over his shoulder. It's just my clothes that are a little ripped. She murmured, oh. She looked at him with newfound admiration. She thought, wow, I almost got crushed by a huge steel bar. But he saved both me and Yu-chan Appa. Without a single scratch. He's amazing. She finally managed to speak. She stuttered slightly. Thank you. Kang In replied bluntly. I was just doing my job to help out. Un-ha immediately lost her temper. I'm not a staff member. I'm an actor. Kang In deadpanned. It was a joke. She yelled, that's not funny. You're still annoying. Ignoring her outburst, Kang In turned to the director. Since my job here is done, I'll head back to the catering truck. Thank you so much, even though you must have been busy. As Kang In walked away, the director muttered, he looks young, but he's so talented. Un-ha asked, so, will he not be coming back after helping us today? Director son smail vraiti. No, he has to come back. I'm asking him to help out tomorrow and the day after, too. Eunha clapped her hands in excitement. With Kang In helping us, this movie will be the best action film ever. Wow, but director, isn't our movie a romantic comedy? The script lying on the table clearly read, romance and comedy. His face darkened with a terrifying, absolute determination. If we cut out all the scenes with that problematic actor and replace them with action, we can solve all the problems piled up in front of us. The film assistant sweated nervously. He asked, "You're saying we should change the genre to action?" He quickly suggested hiring a stunt director, but Sun scoffed. Why bother with such pointless effort? The director said slowly, "You just saw Kang In calculating all the movements in real time and wrapping up the shoot, didn't you?" The assistant agreed that is true. Sun paced the floor heavily. Time is what we desperately need. And who else can solve that besides Kang In? But he is not even an actor. It feels awkward to ask. Eunha threw her hands up. Director said, "Who needs an acting license anyway? Didn't you see he was far better than Kim Yoo-chan earlier?" Kim Yoo-chan started crying in the corner. The assistant sighed, rubbing his temple. "But what about the food truck? I heard Kang In stepped in as a replacement chef because the original one got injured." Director clasped his hands. "No more talk. I'll handle that problem myself, so just wait." Now, this is where it gets interesting. Director Sun cupped his hand around his mouth and screamed across the entire set, "Kang In, let's have a talk." Meanwhile, outside the building, Kang In was casually strolling. His AI system hummed in his mind. The place that seemed fine suddenly collapsed. Kang In narrowed his eyes. Right in the middle of shooting, and from where the actor was standing, no less. It is a bit suspicious. A holographic grid overlaid his vision. The AI reported, "After analyzing the visual data, we estimate intentional damage was done before the collapse." Kang In nodded internally. He thought, "You think the same way, do you not? Someone could have tampered with the set beforehand, right?" The AI projected a digital silhouette of the actress. Multiple steel lights fell towards Shin Eunha. Anyone could have predicted her position just by looking at the script. Kang In muttered, "Someone might have targeted the actress, or maybe even the movie itself. Someone who wants the movie to fail." Suddenly, heavy panting approached. Director Sun charged toward him like a wild boar. "Can we talk for a moment?" Kang In turned, utterly unimpressed. "Is there anything left to discuss?" Sun lunged forward, grabbing both of Kang In's hands with a desperate grip. Tears streamed down the director's face as he begged, "Please save our movie." Sun eagerly explained their dire situation. But internally, Kang In's AI was running logistics. "The geography of this area is almost identical to my data." The AI concluded, "The information value is low." Following his own agenda, Kang In told Sun, "I have work in Seoul, so I cannot keep coming here." Sun gasped in pure joy. "Seoul, that is perfect." Sun gave a massive thumbs up. "Starting tomorrow, we are moving all the additional shooting to Seoul." Kang In blinked. Kang In hesitated. "But I also have work, so I cannot be on set all day." Sun was quick to compromise. "Do not worry. You only need to come during the actual shoot. No retakes, just one take." The AI immediately chimed in. "That will not work. We have to finish our mission at the temporary base." But Sun interrupted. "We will make sure your payment is solid." Suddenly, the AI pivoted. "However, if a large amount of funds comes in, I think it would be good to accept." Kang In's sweat dropped, wondering why the AI was suddenly so motivated by money. Kang In sighed, relenting. "All right, let me know the schedule, and I will come by." Sun cried tears of joy, promising to stay up all night revising the script. Negotiations settled. And just like that, Director Sun regained his fierce energy. With Kang In on board, his true skills as a director flared to life. Even though the scenes at the ruined set were cancelled, a brilliant new scenario began to take shape under the director's fiery passion. By morning, actors and staff were rushing back to work. A calm, smooth atmosphere had settled over the crew, all thanks to the Kang In effect. But here is the catch. The peace didn't last. A white car screeched into the lot, tires throwing up a massive cloud of dust. Manager Kim from T-Cho Entertainment leaped out, sprinting toward the building like his life depended on it. He burst through the doors, panting heavily. "Director Son Tae-min." Sun looked up from his notes, completely unfazed. "Oh, Manager Kim, you are here." Kim lost his mind. "You are here. Please, save us." Kim grabbed the director by the shirt. "If we release this movie in its original form, we will get nothing but complaints. The movie will flop, and the company will be in trouble." Kim said, "We cannot delay the release date. The company secured major theater slots. If that falls through, no one will be able to handle the aftermath." Sun calmly placed a finger over his lips. "Chill." Sun smiled with unwavering confidence. "Manager Kim, trust me. I will solve all these problems." Kim screamed, "No, stop bluffing." Kim demanded to know the plan. Sun popped the cap off a marker with a sharp snap. "Oh, how I'm going to do it?" He scribbled directly on the title page. "I'm going to change the movie's genre." Sun slammed the script down. It now read, "Romance and comedy plus action." Kim's eyes bulged out of his head. "What? Are you out of your mind?" Kim flailed his arms. "Are you crazy? We only have a week left for additional shooting and editing. How can you change the genre now?" Sun just waved him off. Sun pushed Kim toward the exit. We are working right now, so we do not have time. I will show you something during dinner later. Kim wailed in absolute despair as the door closed. The heavy door slammed shut. Both of them flinched. Sun shouted, "Who is it?" Sun marched outside, yelling, "Who keeps slamming the doors during the shoot like that? Dust is flying all the way over here." Manager Kim turned around, and his face drained of all color. Kim bowed, so fast he nearly snapped in half. He stuttered in pure panic. "Boss, I did not expect you to come in person." Standing there, radiating absolute authority, was a man with a deeply annoyed expression. It was Lee Tae-ho, the CEO of T-Cho Entertainment. Lee strode forward with heavy, purposeful steps. "I did not want to come here because I do not want to put a burden on the shooting location." He surveyed the completely ruined, collapsed set in front of him. He continued, "But an accident happened on the set that made it collapse like that. There's no way I wouldn't come." Lee glared at the sweating manager. "Well, the thing is, there was a mistake while working. Is it not your department's job to prevent mistakes on set?" Manager Kim. Lee's voice turned freezing cold. "How long are you going to keep blaming that actor?" Kim stammered desperately, "No, I am sorry." Suddenly, the tense atmosphere was broken by the soft tapping of little shoes. A little girl ran up. "Daddy, are you angry?" Instantly, the terrifying So melted into a puddle. "Minji." Minji asked, "I heard your angry voice, so I followed you." He covered up. "Oh no, I wasn't angry, it's just noisy here, so I had to speak loudly." Director stammered in surprise. "Minji, you are here." "Hello." As Minji politely bowed to Director Sun, Lee shot the director a deadly glare over her head. Lee stared daggers at Sun. "Can you finish all the reshoots and editing in a week? Please give me a clear answer." Sun crossed his arms, completely unfazed. "Of course. It will be even better than the original." Behind them, little Minji happily reunited with the crew. Lee closed his eyes, his tone shifting to respectful business mode. "As expected, a veteran director like you will do a great job." But Sun raised a finger. Actually," Sun explained, "there's someone named Kang In who is amazing at martial arts. He can shoot Hollywood-level action scenes in one take. If we have him, we can save this movie." Lee blinked, surprised. "Is that so?" Intrigued, Lee asked, "If you say that, he must have an impressive background. Is he from abroad? Where is he now?" Sun started to sweat. "Oh well." Sun pointed vaguely into the distance. "Over there." Lee followed his gaze. Sun finished nervously at the food truck. Lee's face went completely blank. From across the lot, a brilliant light shone from the small cooking station. There was Kang In wearing a clear plastic mask, staring with absolute, intense concentration, as he masterfully tossed a massive mountain of sparkling fried rice in a wok, completely oblivious to the chaos around him. Manager Kim nodded enthusiastically. "Yes, that's right. But why is a martial arts director cooking? And doing it so skillfully at that?" Director Sun chuckled, chiming in, "Well, that's because Na Kang In drove the catering truck all the way here." Lee Tae-ho stared blankly, completely lost for words. He mumbled in confusion, "What?" His expression quickly darkened into a serious glare. "So, Director Sun Tae-min, are you saying that you left the martial arts direction to the catering guy and even had him stand in for the lead actor Kim Yoo-chan's action scenes? Are you messing with me right now?" Director Sun burst into laughter, completely missing the tension. "Yes. Plus, his body type is quite similar to Kim Yoo-chan's." Lee Tae-ho snapped. "In this urgent situation, are you bringing in an amateur just to save some budget?" Director Sun's smile vanished. "What? Save a budget? What are you talking about?" Lee shouted. "You think this film is doomed anyway, so you're just trying to pocket some extra cash." He waved his hands defensively. "No, that's not it. If you see the results, you'll understand. That man is the real deal." Lee Tae-ho ignored him, his face stern and unyielding. "Submit all the production expenses, not a cent off, and file them properly." He turned to his sweating subordinate. "Manager Kim, get all the receipts and verify every single detail." Manager Kim stuttered out a quick agreement. Yes, yes." In the background, Director Sun chased after them, pleading, "But President Lee Tae-ho, there seems to be a misunderstanding." Meanwhile, back at the food truck, a cheerful voice echoed through the air. "Wow, this is really tasty." Na Kang In looked down at the little girl, Lee Minji. "It's called mixed snack." Minji giggled, taking another bite. "Mixed snack? The name sounds weird, but it tastes amazing." Kang In offered a gentle smile. "I made a lot for the staff. Eat as much as you want." "All right, I can't eat too much. My mom won't let me eat too many snacks because she says I'll gain weight." Kang In raised an eyebrow. But you could stand to gain a little." She struck a proud pose, practically glowing with confidence. "No way. I'm actually the lead actor in this movie, so I need to watch my figure." Kang In looked amused. "You're the lead actor?" "I'm a child actor, though," she admitted. The film crew assistant resting nearby chuckled and added, "Even if you're a child actor, if you're playing the same role, you're still the lead. Right, since you're credited under the same name." Minji turned back to Kang In, her eyes pleading. "Sir, can you make these snacks again for me later?" He shook his head slowly. "I wish I could, but starting tomorrow we'll be filming in Seoul, so there won't be a catering truck." Minji groaned in pure disappointment. She tapped her chin thoughtfully. Well, how about I take some now and hide them in my dad's car for later? Kang In suggested. How about you stop by the PC room where I work sometime, and I'll make them for you? Come with your mom and dad. Her face lit up with pure joy. Really, with a swift motion, she thrust her phone toward him. Give me your number so I can contact you later, she demanded cheerfully. I'll save you a snack, guy. Kang In blinked, caught off guard. He stuttered slightly. Sure, go ahead. Assistant sprinted into the editing room, completely out of breath. Hey, just take a look, please. He pointed frantically at the screen. You know how director's son is, right? He's such a perfectionist that he's hardly ever satisfied with the results. But when it comes to Na Kang In from the catering truck, he's literally trembling. That should tell you everything. Lee Tae-ho turned around, clearly skeptical. He hesitated. He let out a heavy sigh, crossing his arms. All right, Fine. Let's see what you shot. The group immediately gathered around the glowing monitor, waiting for the playback. Suddenly, a brilliant flash of action illuminated their faces, leaving everyone completely speechless. Lee Tae-ho leaned in, pointing sharply at the screen. Wait a minute. When did you add the CGI? His eyes were wide with utter shock. And how did you choreograph the scenes to get shots like this? Director Sun stood in the back, casually replying, What's CGI? Sun adjusted his glasses with a smug grin. There was no time to do any CGI. That's the raw footage, completely unedited. And I didn't do this alone. The actor calculated every single angle where he would be captured on camera and moved accordingly, Sun explained. Lee Tae-ho stammered, his jaw dropping. The actor? You mean the guy from the catering truck? Sun beamed. Exactly. Lee Tae-ho was in absolute disbelief. So, you're telling me that the amateur from the catering truck nailed it in one take without any NGs? And he didn't even calculate where the lights would fall. Son dead solemnity. Yes, the set actually collapsed for real. Na Kang In saved us in that moment of crisis. Lee Tae-ho rubbed his forehead, processing the sheer absurdity of the situation. It seems I owe director Sun an apology for my earlier comments. He bowed his head slightly. I'm sorry for misunderstanding. Sun patted his arm, laughing heartily. I'm glad you understand now. If you hadn't gotten it after watching that footage, I'd have thought you were being stubborn just for the sake of it. Lee Tae-ho straightened his jacket. I'll go thank the catering guy now. Son smiled blightly. Yes, please do. Back outside, a fresh batch of snacks sizzled warmly in the massive pan. Lee Tae-ho approached the food truck cautiously, scratching his neck. It'll. Kang In immediately held out a fresh cup. Here you go. I just made it. Lee Tae-ho waved his hands awkwardly. No, I'm not here for snacks. Despite his words, he ended up holding the cup anyway. I'm President Lee Tae-ho of the investment company for this film. It seems like you saved our movie, so I came to thank you personally. Kang In shrugged indifferently. I was just doing my job. He thought to himself, though it was mostly for the money. Lee Tae-ho chuckled nervously. You have incredible martial arts skills. But what's this? It's something like hardtack. Give it a try, Kang In offered. Lee Tae-ho stared down at the peculiar food, completely silent. He hesitated, remembering past meals. I had too much of that stuff during my military service, so I don't really like it, but I guess I have to please Mr. Na Kang In. He popped a piece into his mouth, and instantly his eyes shot wide open in shock. He chewed, absolutely mesmerized by the taste. This is unbelievable. It's salty, sweet, and savory all at once. It has a slight pancake taste, but it's not greasy. This flavor is truly magical. Tears practically formed in his eyes as he shouted, My daughter would absolutely love something like this. Kang In replied calmly. Min-ji already came by and had some. Lee Tae-ho wiped a dramatic tear from his eye. Did she? I hope my daughter thanked you properly. He turned around and called out enthusiastically. Min-ji, let's eat snacks with Dad. But there was only silence. The rest area was completely quiet. His smile faded as he looked around the empty tables. Where did my daughter go? Kang In also looked confused. Sensing something was wrong, Kang In quietly accessed his AI support system. He thought, Gina, where's Min-ji? The AI responded through his neural link. I couldn't locate her in the recorded footage either. Kang In's expression hardened. He immediately stepped out of the truck, moving toward the nearby structure. Could she be inside the building? The AI reported coldly. There's no sign of Min-ji's presence nearby. But here's the catch. Suddenly, his phone buzzed. The caller ID read, Popular Kid Min-ji. Lee Tae-ho sighed in relief. There she is. Do you know my daughter's number? Kang In stared at the screen. She took my number earlier to get more mixed snacks later. Kang In pressed answer, bringing the phone to his ear. Hello. For a brief second, there was nothing. Then, with a cold click, the call ended. Lee Tae-ho noticed the shift in his demeanor. He asked cautiously, Na Kang In? Kang In lowered the phone, his eyes narrowing with a sharp, dangerous intensity. The atmosphere instantly dropped 10 degrees. Lee Tae-ho stepped back, gulping nervously. Why do you look so upset? Ignoring the CEO, Kang In started walking away purposefully, his gaze fixed intensely on the silence phone. He urgently accessed his internal system. He commanded, Jeon Ji In. How likely is it that Min-ji dropped her phone and it broke? His AI support system immediately responded in his mind. It's unlikely. The sound was different. The screen displayed a failed call from Lee Min-ji. The AI announced, Analyze what the sound from earlier was. Replaying recorded information. Kang In stood perfectly still, letting the AI process the audio data. Analysis results, the system declared. Sound of air coming from a soft object wrapped in an outer layer, the AI explained. It continued, sound of pressing plastic reinforced with metal. Echoes inside a confined space were detected. Kang In pieced the clues together. Soft object. Plastic reinforced with metal, he thought. He turned his eyes toward the distant parking lot. If it's a confined space, a car. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Inside a moving sedan, a heavy thud echoed. A man shouted, "You insult." The kidnapper lackey yelled in panic. Who kidnaps someone and then leaves them with a phone? I didn't know she had a phone. In the back seat, little Minji sat bound, with duct tape over her mouth, tears streaming down her face. The lackey held up the cracked phone, defending himself. I took it from her in a hurry, so it should be fine. The driver barked back. You idiot. What if you broke it? The lackey stammered apologetically that if they called again and no one answered, they would get suspicious. The kidnapper leader, his glasses glinting with madness, screamed, Who did she call? The lackey nervously read the screen. It showed up as Snack Man. The leader was completely dumbfounded. What? Is she craving snacks? Should I bring her some? Shaking off the absurdity, the leader ordered. Anyway, get the car out quietly. We need to leave before anyone notices. The driver complied, hitting the gas and speeding away. Back at the set, Lee Tae-ho finally caught up to Kang In. Mr. Na Kang In? What's wrong? He asked, worry lacing his voice. After answering my daughter's call, you turned so serious and said nothing. Lee Tae-ho continued. Why are you making me so nervous? Within Kang In's vision, the AI initiated a protocol. Hostage rescue protocol activated. It chimed, highlighting items scattered on the ground. Spotted a girl's backpack and crumpled snack wrappers ahead, the AI reported. They appear to belong to Lee Minji. The augmented reality traced a direct, glowing path from the dropped items to a fleeing vehicle. Crumbs lead toward that car, the AI concluded. Kang In's eyes flared with an intense, chilling blue light. He had his target. Without a word, he bolted, moving with terrifying, superhuman speed. Lee Tae-ho desperately called out, Hey, Mr. Na Kang In! Gasping for air, Lee Tae-ho walked over to the spot Kang In had been staring at. He looked down and recognized the small pink bag. This is my daughter's backpack, he murmured. The blood drained from his face as a horrible realization set in. Could it be, he thought, panic violently gripping his chest. Meanwhile, in the getaway car, the driver stared intensely at the road ahead. Suddenly, the driver shouted, Boss, someone's coming this way. He watched in disbelief as Kang In sprinted straight toward their speeding vehicle. You insane arrogance, the leader shrieked. Why are you calmly reporting this? Step on it. The car hurtled toward Kang In. The AI confirmed, it's definitely the enemy. AI reported, they've noticed you, Agent. Agent replied, I know. The AI immediately highlighted a heavy metal traffic sign, a good weapon to deal with vehicles. Please use this sign. Kang In gripped the thick metal pole with crushing strength. With a massive heave, he ripped the heavy signpost right out of the concrete. Using the pole like a vault, he launched himself high into the air. The driver stared into the side mirror in absolute shock. Look at him run towards us. What's in his hand? The leader let out a mocking laugh. Is he insane? Does he think he can catch the car by running? There's always someone who does the impossible. But panic quickly replaced his arrogance. He screamed, just in case, step on it harder. In the back seat, Minji looked out the window, tears welling up. She prayed internally, Snack Man, Dad, Mom. Suddenly, the driver announced, Boss, he's gone. Minji's eyes widened in surprise. The leader laughed hysterically, leaning back, probably exhausted and collapsed. Serve him right. Don't worry about him, just keep driving. They had no idea. Above them, Kang In was moving with blistering speed. He spun gracefully through the air, perfectly tracking the speeding car below. The leader casually glanced up through the windshield, his smile faltering. With a thunderous explosion of impact, Kang In landed squarely on the hood of the car. The men inside screamed in absolute terror. Balancing effortlessly on the moving vehicle, Kang In swung the heavy metal signpost back. He brought it crashing down onto the windshield with devastating force. The glass shattered outward as the men shrieked. The car swerved violently. The leader roared, What the heck is that? How'd that guy get here? Drive. Step on it and knock that guy off. The driver slammed the gas, sending the car tearing across the grass in a massive cloud of dust, desperately trying to shake Kang In. Kang In glared through the broken glass, shouting, Find a way to stop the car. The AI instantly analyzed the engine block. Look at the hood. If you pierce that spot vertically, the engine will stop. Kang In raised the sharp edge of the signpost high into the air like a heavy spear. He tightened his grip, his muscles tensing. With a heavy thud, he drove the pole straight down through the thick metal of the hood. The AI confirmed direct hit. The engine died instantly, the car jerking forward. Kang In stood victorious on the hood. The leader stared in disbelief, muttering, You. Desperate and cornered, the leader screamed, That guy let go. Hit the brakes and throw him off. The driver yelled in agreement. The driver slammed his foot onto the brake pedal with all his might. The sheer force of the sudden stop launched Kang In off the hood, sending him skidding wildly across the dirt road. Minji watched the brutal impact through the broken windshield, terrified for the man trying to save her. Back at the parking lot, Lee Tae-ho clutched his daughter's pink bag, his face a mask of absolute horror. Looking toward the distant dust trail, he screamed in agony, "Minji! Mr. Na Kang In!" With a sudden, violent rush of air, Na Kang In vaulted backward, putting space between himself and the speeding vehicle. Inside the getaway car, the kidnapper leader burst into a maniacal, breathless laugh. "Ha ha ha, you fool! It's the emergency brake, you insolent jerk." He thought letting go would be a fatal mistake, but Kang In gracefully somersaulted through the air, his feet finding the earth with a soft, controlled thud. He stood up instantly, his piercing blue eyes locked onto them with absolute, terrifying focus. Deep within his consciousness, his internal AI system chimed in, successfully induced the enemy vehicle's brakes. Bound and gagged in the back seat, little Minji watched the impossible stunt with wide eyes. Thug stammered in awe. "What the? The guy just landed lightly, didn't he?" Panic seized the kidnapper driver. He frantically shouted, "Yes, yes," as the leader yelled at him, "Step on it already. Hit him with the car and get away." But the car didn't move an inch. The engine roared, and the wheels spun wildly in the dirt with a loud screech. The leader shrieked from the back seat, "What are you doing? Step on it." Sweating bullets, the driver replied, "The car is broken." The leader gasped, "What?" Looking out the window, the leader's eyes bulged as he realized. He cursed bitterly. "Were you aiming for this from the start?" Losing his mind, the leader wildly smacked his own crew, screaming, "You dogs! You absolute arrogant fools! Don't just watch, go out and end that guy first." The driver stammered defensively, "But what about the kid?" Sweating and shaking, the bespectacled leader grabbed Minji tightly by the collar. He sneered, "I'll hold on to her." The two burly thugs scrambled out of the smoking car, glaring furiously across the dirt road. You arrogant fool," they roared. Kang In just stood there, completely unbothered in his tropical leaf-pattern shirt. Confused by his utter calm, the thugs demanded, "What are you?" With a deadpan, humorless expression, Kang In answered simply, "I'm Batman." Before they could even process the joke, a sharp sonic boom cracked the air as Kang In vanished from his spot. He launched himself forward like a missile, instantly appearing right above the massive driver. The lackey mumbled in disbelief, "It's a foreigner." With devastating impact, Kang In slammed his foot directly into the driver's face, sending a shockwave through the air. The driver collapsed into a heavy heap, groaning in sheer agony. The remaining lackey staggered back, horrified. Desperate, the lackey pulled a combat knife and slashed wildly. He panicked, screaming, "It's too fast for my eyes to follow." Kang In easily slipped under the frantic blade, delivering a crushing uppercut that launched the thug clean off his feet. In the blink of an eye, both massive thugs hit the dirt completely out cold. The fight was over before it even began. Without missing a single beat, Kang In turned his attention back to the ruined white sedan. Inside, the kidnapper leader pressed his face against the glass, screaming in absolute, unadulterated terror as the unstoppable force approached. He was panicking and Minji was pleading for help. Agent and Minji looked at each other. Through the glass, Kang In gave a bright, disarming smile and flashed a peace sign. He promised warmly, "I'll save you, don't worry." Hearing his confident voice, little Minji's tear-filled eyes sparked with a glimmer of real hope. Agent asked the AI, "What's the plan to subdue that kidnapper?" Kang In's AI system calculated the next tactical move. It suggested, jump into the car to subdue him, persuade him over time, or lure him outside the car. Kang In analyzed the situation perfectly. He thought, it's better to lure him outside and deal with it. Minji could get hurt. Following his instincts, AI commanded him, get away from the car. The AI, stating mechanically, to make the enemy let their guard down, we need to be farther away. The enemy won't come out unless they feel safe. The system coldly formulated the optimal distance. I recommend 15 meters. Watching the hero back off, the leader breathed a heavy sigh of relief. He thought, what? He's retreated. Does that mean he won't attack? But his relief was short-lived. He spotted CEO Lee Tae-ho rushing up the road in the distance. Panic set in all over again. He thought, oh no, I need to get out of here quickly before those guys come. With a frantic shove, the kidnapper threw the car door wide open. He dragged Minji using knife and shouted, hey, get the car. Kang In's expression hardened into pure ice as the leader dragged Minji out. The kidnapper shouted, don't you dare call the police. If you call, the kid pays the ultimate price. Kang In silently glared, thinking, you absolute garbage. Seeing his precious daughter in mortal danger, CEO Lee Tae-ho clutched his head and let out an agonizing, heart-wrenching scream. Minji. Lee grabbed the collar of co-worker and shouted, hurry, tell that guy to get in the car. Co-worker asked him to calm down. The kidnapper tightened his grip on the little girl, nervously pulling her backward as Lee Tae-ho sprinted toward them. Tears streaming down his face, the desperate father pleaded, I'll give you the car, but if you even touch a hair on Minji, I will destroy your 3rd generation. No, your 10th generation. The kidnapper leader flashed a sinister, crazed grin, clearly enjoying the control. Okay, that's it. Yeah, you. He demanded. Bring it yourself. Lee Tae-ho didn't hesitate for a second, sprinting toward his car while his manager desperately called out, Sir. Nearby, a couple of hikers were secretly watching the whole terrifying ordeal. The woman whispered nervously, Are you really not going to call the police? The man hushed her. Are you crazy? You have to report it secretly. But how will the police get here in the mountains? Back at the main road, CO Lee Tae-ho finally reached his sleek black Audi, his tearful eyes locked on his little girl. He was ready to do anything for his little daughter. With a heavy, rumbling roar, the engine flared to life. The kidnapper smirked in dark anticipation. Kang In's AI system chimed with a stark warning. Providing transportation to the enemy significantly increases the chance they will escape with the hostage. Kang In, watching closely, simply replied, I know. Throwing the door open, Lee Tae-ho stepped out of the running vehicle, raising his empty hands. He shouted, I brought the car. I'm here. Tears flowing freely, the father screamed from the very depths of his lungs, Don't touch my Minji. Minji wept softly, a cold, sharp blade resting dangerously close to her neck. She mumbled weakly through her gag, Dad. The frantic kidnapper barked his final, desperate orders. Put your hands up and step aside. Stay away. Slowly, with his hands raised in total surrender, the CEO stepped away from the vehicle. He watched helplessly as the kidnapper dragged his daughter toward the running car. Reaching his hand out, the father tried to comfort his crying daughter, his voice cracking with emotion. Your dad will save you. The crazed kidnapper swung his knife aggressively, screaming, Don't come. If you come, I'll really cut her down. Suddenly, Kang In's calm demeanor broke entirely. His bright blue eyes widened in absolute, utter shock as something entirely unexpected happened. Without any warning, a sharp slicing sound echoed through the valley, and a sudden crimson mist filled the air. A devastating mark was left on the kidnapper's head, as a crimson mist filled the air. Minji watched, completely frozen in shock. The man swayed, dangerously, dropping his weapon as his balance completely vanished. He collapsed with a heavy thud, leaving Kang In standing triumphantly in the distance. Kang In calmly lowered his arm, thinking, direct hit. The embedded AI coldly calculated. The enemy was hit using a long-range throwing weapon, a stone. A precise strike, right to the skull. CEO grabbed his daughter, tightly crying Minji. With the danger over, the overwhelming terror finally broke the poor girl. Minji wailed out loud. Moments later, the wail of sirens filled the mountain as police cars swarmed the scene. Surveying the defeated thugs, an investigator muttered, Look at these villains. This one seems to have broken ribs. That one's jaw is injured. And that one has a cracked head. Detective Park sighed in absolute disgust. Ugh, damn. All three are in terrible condition. Especially this one, who got hit by a stone right on his skull, the detective noted. Looks like it even caused a fracture. Call an ambulance right away and send them to the hospital first. But Tae-ho confidently strode over to the officers, completely unhappy with their plan. He demanded angrily, Why are we sending them to the hospital first? As if they did something good? My daughter, who was almost kidnapped, should be treated first. The detective sighed, but we can't just leave them like that if something serious happens. They got beaten pretty badly. At a glance, they'll need at least 3 weeks to recover. CEO was silent, but Minji asked, Dad, is the lunch truck guy going to get arrested? Meanwhile, Kang In gently placed his hand on Minji's head. She looked up, her big eyes trembling. Uncle, are you going to jail because of me? Kang In smiled softly. Don't worry. Just like Dad saved you, he'll save me too. Hearing this, Tae-ho froze in sheer panic. At the same time, the AI warned, if you plan to escape from the police, now's the time. Executing prison escape protocol. Kang In quickly thought, don't do it. If he's smart, he'll figure out how to save me with his influence. Tae-ho teared up, completely moved. He realized Kang In was taking the blame just to make him look like a hero in front of his daughter. Tae-ho spun around and roared at the detectives. Mister, Na Kang In is the hero who saved my daughter. Even if those guys meet a grim fate, Mr. Na Kang In is absolutely innocent. The detective crossed his arms. Do you have any evidence of self-defense? We need evidence too, the detective added. Like CCTV footage or something like that. Tae-ho broke into a cold sweat, knowing they were in the middle of nowhere. Now, this is where it gets interesting. A looming shadow appeared right behind the CEO. Director's son popped up with a huge grin, startling Tae-ho. There is evidence. Aren't you the movie director? That's right. This is my movie set. I have something much more valuable than CCTV footage. Would you like to see it? With a dramatic flourish, he opened his laptop, bathing them all in its glowing light. The detectives leaned in, completely stunned. One of them stuttered, Wait a second. What is this? Don't tell me. The director chuckled. What else would it be? It's a video of what just happened. The kidnappers' faces were caught clearly. He pointed at the screen, triumphantly. It's true that 3 of them threatened the child and Mr. Na Kang In, right? That's right. The camera angle is perfect too. The detective asked in sheer disbelief, but how did you manage to film this? The director smirked. This place is full of filmmakers. When something starts happening, the cameras just roll right away. Taeho proudly stated, Mr. Na Kang In is a hero who saved us all. He's absolutely innocent. Kang In let out a small sigh of relief. The AI reported, ending prison escape protocol. Phew, Kang In thought dryly. Did you just sign relief? Taeho glared at the detectives with a powerful, authoritative aura. Now, even if the kidnapper boss ends up facing severe consequences, there should be no talk of punishing Mr. Na Kang In. If someone tries to unjustly punish him after seeing this footage, Taeho warned, I'll show them how competent our PR team is. Someone said, but the PR team, not the legal team. CEO replied, it means the officers will get a mouthful of complaints. The detective nervously backed down. Agent said it's almost dinner time, so I'll be heading out. Don't worry, I'm not going to run away. The scene shifted to a peaceful evening near the catering truck, far from the earlier chaos. A pristine, beautifully crafted chocolate cake sat on a plate, practically sparkling. Kang In asked, want to try some? Minji stared at it in pure awe. Did you make this, uncle? Kang In nodded. Yeah, I know you don't have much of an appetite, but try a bite. The AI analyzed. Field tactical desserts are highly effective for boosting allied morale. The AI continued. The visually appealing treat replenishes energy and conveys the message of support to the allies. But when the situation is dire, it may serve as a last supper. Kang In urged gently, try it, it's delicious. Minji happily munched on the cake, her cheeks stuffed like a chipmunk. Taeho watched her fondly, asking, our Minji was too shocked earlier to eat a snack. Is it good? Wow, it's really tasty. Minji, can Dad have a bite too? Taking a bite, Taeho's eyes widened in sheer amazement. How did you make it? I want to try making it for Minji at home. Someone casually gestured. I watched him make it, but honestly, a normal person wouldn't be able to do it. First, you need a lot of strength to mix and shake the ingredients that fast, Kang In explained, recalling the intense, sparkling culinary process. And the seasoning, it's like a work of art. Taeho looked intently at Kang In. Are you a professional pâtissier or a restaurant chef by any chance? If not, there's no way to explain how it tastes this good. Kang In calmly replied, I'm just a part-timer at a PC room that serves food. Taeho's jaw dropped. He was utterly speechless. What? A PC room? Suddenly, a furious, booming voice pierced the calm evening air. Fierce footsteps approached, clicking aggressively against the pavement with terrifying purpose. It was actor Jang Mi-young, Taeho's wife, and Minji's mom, storming toward them alongside her panicked manager. You even eat right now? She yelled. Taeho completely panicked. Honey. Mi-young aggressively grabbed him by the collar, shaking him violently. Our daughter was almost kidnapped and could have died, and you're just sitting here eating snacks? But she immediately rushed to her daughter, her fiery aura instantly softening into pure maternal love. My sweet daughter, are you okay? Are you hurt anywhere? CEO nervously tried to excuse her terrifying rage. I know I may look a little weird right now, but there's a reason for it. Meanwhile, Mi-young turned her terrifying glare back to her husband. You, come here. You are dead today. Kang In and the director watched the chaos quietly. Looks like we're seeing many sides of the boss today. Manager Hyo-rin frantically grabbed Mi-young's arm, trying to hold her back. Yinny, calm down. There are too many people watching right now. Mi-young yelled back. How can I calm down? Can you calm down? Adjusting her glowing glasses, Hyo-rin stated with terrifying, professional calmness. I'll take care of him quietly without any police or witnesses. Taeho trembled in absolute fear. After finally calming down, Mi-young approached Kang In with genuine warmth. Thank you so much for saving our daughter. Kang In replied modestly. It was only natural. Mi-young shook her head. Natural? We saw everything in the video of how you saved her. You jumped in front of a speeding car, stopped it, and fought off a guy with a knife. You risked your life, she said, deeply moved. The AI quietly chimed in. The rescue operation proceeded smoothly, and the agent wasn't in danger. Kang In simply agreed it was manageable. Minji beamed at him. Wow, so cool. Uncle, don't forget that you promised to make me snacks again. And desserts too, she added with a huge, adorable grin. Kang In smiled back gently. Sure, just call me before you come. I'm not at the PC room all the time. Taeho told his wife. Honey, I'll head home first. Minji has elementary school homework to do. I'll stay a bit longer to check on the situation here. They waved their goodbyes. Once they left, Taeho turned to Kang In, his expression full of profound gratitude. If it weren't for you, Mr. Na Kang In, both my wife and I would probably be in despair right now. He bowed deeply, showing ultimate respect. Thank you once again. Kang In nodded humbly. It's nothing. Crow said, I'll treat you to a fancy meal sometime. Kang In agreed. Sounds good. But just then, a beautiful figure quietly crept up right behind him. Someone called out, President Taeho Lee, please come over for a moment. As Taeho walked away, the young woman cleared her throat purposefully. Ahem. It was the actress, Shin Eun-ha. She looked at him with keen, undeniable interest. Excuse me. From what I've seen today, you can cook a little, do some action scenes, and you even took down some kidnappers. The rumor that you work at a PC room, that's a lie, right? Kang In replied flatly, without missing a beat, it's not a lie. Eun-ha gasped in surprise, really? No way. Where is it? Send me the address and the phone number. Without hesitating, Kang In held out his phone. Saved it as Na Kang In. Eunha beamed happily, a bright blush on her cheeks as she looked at her screen. Wow, thank you so much. Suddenly realizing how that sounded, she quickly added, oh, don't get the wrong idea. I'm not asking for your number like that. It's just that your PC room is a must-visit, so I'll drop by sometime. Kang In simply said, just save it. Kang In turned to walk away, glancing back over his shoulder into the night sky. He thought to himself, completely oblivious, I don't know the PC room number anyway. Got one new customer. Eunha, feeling flustered by his incredibly cool demeanor, stuttered internally. What the? If you look at me like that, who's going to feel flustered? I'm an actor. An actor. Her dramatic thoughts were completely shattered by a massive, enraged roar from across the set. What? It was Taeho, screaming in sheer, unadulterated panic. What do you mean this got uploaded to the internet? Who dared to upload it? Taeho held up his phone, trembling with absolute rage as he stared at the viral video. A nervous staff member next to him stuttered, that, even I don't know, among the people here, who the heck uploaded the video on my daughter's rescue?